You are live. What's up? What's up, people? Can you hear me out there? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, we got the Universal Guru. Okay, okay, okay.
Yo,
What's good? Let me know if you free right now. You good?
hold on 1 second.
Okay, okay.
Give me position. I can't really hear you though, so
Oh,
hold
hold
on
on.
1 second.
Chit, 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 chit,
Gotta
chit, chit.
get some
We got some guests today.
headphones.
Welcome to the Art Album, Art on Deck's live show.
Give me 1 second. I
No
put
doubt,
some.
no doubt. Every Sunday we go live, you know what I'm saying? Talking that creativity. Just spoke to my nephew a little while ago. Shout out to CJ. You know what I'm saying?
All
Um
right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
do your
Yo,
thing.
yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you.
Oh, hold on. What's up? Now you hear me now? Shit, shit,
Um,
shit, shit.
it's low. It's low.
Low,
I
low,
don't
low.
know
What about
why.
now? What about now? Cheer, cheer. Oh, it's clipping right now. Oh, we got my brother Ankh Beno.
Yo, yo, yo.
You.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, cool. Hold on, let me see. Can you still hear me? You hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
All right, chit. All right, there we go. I got the red scarlet, just making sure she all right. You know what I'm saying? Got the
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
What you do with Scarlet? What's that? Solo or 2x2?
2 hour, little minimum joint.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, put this on. Take this off. So I got a cool little panel. Oh, let me put my got my okay. Universal Guru, you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Peace, peace. Yo, what's going on with you, brother?
Yo, what's going on? Not much, man. Just chilling out. Chilling out.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm well. I'm well. Gotta be out here in these streets, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
go on, send the link. You heard me?
Okay, cool. Real quick. I watched the Drink Champs with Nori with the legendary Grace Leg. He just wanted to kind of comment on not a creative post he had posted. Aunt Beno. He's responsible. He's a scholar of New Orleans South. You know what I'm saying? SUF. And he's responsible for bringing me to Africa. You know what I'm saying? And helping me with a bunch of spirituality and much more projects we got going on. Then to have my brother Universal Guru here, dope new channel, random everyday carry type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? His channel's blowing up. Go to his channel and check that out. You know what I'm saying? And he's my cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Family. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
From
yeah.
I mean, I ain't give too much because he's still working with it, man. So we're not gonna. We can keep him anonymous. Keep him anonymous. We don't want to get him canceled. You know what I'm saying? He
Cancel,
got,
cancel
he got a
culture.
couple
Oh,
more years, so he's free. A couple more years, he'll be free, and he could do his thing. So we're gonna keep it peace like that. So
Yeah.
his name is Universal Guru for the time being. Now the panel we got right here, real quick. Everybody's busy. I got some points I want to touch on. I think everybody has a good perspective. So when it comes to historical facts, when it comes to race, ethnicity, culture, my brother Ankh Benu, go to his Facebook, his channels. He's like a master researcher. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm learning. I grew up in a Presbyterian church, and I didn't know that each denomination was damn near a European country. I never even know that. And he was put me on a mad stuff. I thought it was a random, just a name. Like you know what I'm saying? I didn't know a lot of these
Yeah.
things. He's really when it comes to that information, he has that. Now, my cousin Universal Guru grew up in New York. But to this particular conversation, because he's Puerto Rican
Yep, yep,
and he's a black man. So the
yep.
issue with the whole hip hop thing is Puerto Ricans created hip hop, or versus black people who created hip hop. Where my understanding, black is a race. Uh, we was call it a race, whatever. Puerto Rican is an ethnicity, right? And like, but generally speaking, anybody could be from that group, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of wanted to get everybody's perspective on it, as far as like culture, definition, science, and we could start off Ankh Benu. I know he may have to tap out real quick, but just give me on your Did you hear the Drinker's interview or anything with Pretty Legs?
Hear anything beyond the clip you said?
The what?
He said the clip you sent. He didn't hear anything beyond the clip you sent. Yeah.
Okay. Your mic is off right now, Unc.
Yeah, because he got the wind noise.
Yeah, I was trying to limit the wind. Can you hear me?
I hear you. A little wind, but I hear you. All right, so a few quick things. The clip I sent you, Crazy Legs.
I just like a little crazy feedback.
Yeah. I don't know if that was me being too close to my joint. I don't know where that's coming from.
All right. It's a little bit better. Is it better? A little better.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I was the camera on. But, all right. So he mentioned, like, so around the 8-10 mark, I got timestamps. Around the 8-10 mark, he does mention that original Puerto Ricans are black. Here we go. Now, what does that mean, right? They're talking about Tainos, right?
Yeah.
Now, they weren't Puerto Rican then. They were Taino. I'm saying, like, they weren't considered Puerto Rican, right? So this is more of a historical situation. So I wanted my brother Ankh Benu to tap in on it. He was saying they were whatever the case. Now, that makes them black, right? People say no. People there, or traveled, or mixed in, and with more than I think the majority was those African Americans who kind of went to the Caribbean, from my understanding.
Huh?
The characters, the Tainos, whatever, they came from the mainland America.
Okay, right.
So
talking about the natives, the indigenous people
of the Caribbean.
That were there, Taino, Arawakan, and folk like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what is the argument is that those people were black?
Crazy Legs said that those original people were black or darker skin. Whatever. Like, but that would be, what's your give me your breakdown on that? What would they be considered of it?
Well, I say they wouldn't be considered any of that, right?
Any of that.
I think that whenever you're discussing, race and ethnicity, you definitely have to always factor in time, location, and culture. Or time, language, and culture as well, right? And this is important because you're using nomenclature. You're using what's called ethnonyms, right? The name of a particular ethnic group. So let's say you started off Puerto Rican. The argument is the original Puerto Ricans was black. So we're saying Puerto Rico, right? Puerto Rico is a quote unquote name, right? Toponym is the name of a location that has a date, right? it has a date that you can trace it to, and we can go back to a time where that name didn't exist, right? So Puerto Ricans come into existence. I don't even know if that's a proper name as well, because as far as within Puerto Rico, are all Puerto Ricans genetically the same? All Puerto Ricans culturally the same?
Universal Guru, I found out the feedback. You don't have an earpiece in, so I muted your mic. When you want to talk, just let me just be like, when you want to talk,
take them off.
No. Keep it on. But I think it's coming from that. So when Anka's talking, I'm gonna mute your mic. Then when you want to talk, I'm gonna unmute it. So just kind of like let me know. But
all right.
That's what
okay.
I was doing.
Yeah. Whenever you start building, I can mute the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Finish building, brother.
Okay. So yeah, to say Puerto Rican, I think is even maybe a little too broad, a little too general, right? It's almost like saying New Orleanian, right?
100%. That's what it is.
It's like, there's a stark difference in contrast between quote unquote Black New Orleans, white New Orleans, and even to a certain extent quote unquote Creole New Orleans.
Creole.
Right?
Mestizo, mulatto going on.
It's a difference, you know what I mean? So when you're talking about Puerto Rico, I'm pretty sure you also have those intricacies and nuances, right? But it's about ethnogenesis, right? So regardless of whether it's Black or white, Puerto Rican or whatever, there's a particular date that can be traced to. In fact, I'm pretty sure in Puerto Rico, you probably have quote unquote white Puerto Ricans,
Yes.
quote Black Puerto Ricans, and then what we would consider in New Orleans to be like Creole types, right? Which is a blend of some people are Black and white or Black and French, and some people Black, French, and Native. Right? So, I'm assuming it would be like Spanish or Spaniard or Portuguese or something like that, African and Native, or something like that. Right? But it's something that's nuanced. So, we first have to define what a Puerto Rican is and when they came into existence. Because in ethnogenesis is saying that this ethnic group didn't always exist. Right? So once you get that, okay, once you get there, and then okay, what makes someone Puerto Rican? Right? Then you can take it from there. But as far as like the indigenous people of the nation before the European came and brought kidnapped Africans, right, to that part of the world, absolutely not. We said before were those indigenous people, African people, or what we would consider to be Black people.
Black people. More
yeah,
like
we consider themselves Black people.
yeah,
I mean,
like
even today, those those people don't consider themselves Black people. You know what I mean? Now, like even today, Native Americans do not consider Black people, and they do not appreciate
saying
like,
that.
at all.
That's only because we at the bottom.
Yeah.
If we were the top, they would have no problem being like, yo, that's what I'm a part of.
I say there may be something to that because every now and then you do see a European claiming it and it seems like it's okay. But man, there's a history of them being quote unquote Black or African natives that have a connection to certain indigenous nations as a result of right, because they participated in Cherokee, Choctaw, and all these folks. They participated, in the institution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, they have a history of even to this day kicking Africans off the reservations and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're not one of us. You're not legit, right? And whatever benefits come with being a card carrying member, you do not qualify. So that's just as real as it is. But as far as brother himself, you know, for him to be Puerto Rican, what that means as far as his ancestry goes, you might have some African, some of that African in his lineage, as a result of the ethnogenesis of Puerto Rico as it relates to Africans being brought there, Europeans, and indigenous people all mixing together and whatnot. You might have some of that.
All right, real quick, Universal Guru, being a Black Puerto Rican, give me your opinion growing up in hip hop. How do you feel when you hear a distinction between a distinction between Black and Puerto Rican or Black and Hispanic or Latino when they're both not, one's a race and one's an ethnicity? It's like nobody says, hey, to like a white guy, hey Tom, are you American or are you white? Like,
yeah.
Like, are you European or are you white? Like, I'm a white European.
Yeah.
Like, it'll say like this. Like, I know generally what we mean by that, but like even in Drink Champs, he tried to make a connection between the two.
Okay.
But then literally a minute later, he still said Blacks and Puerto Ricans. I'm like, you just untied what you try to tie together. Like, he was like, we grew up together and it's the same thing and we mixed. But when it comes to somebody owning this culture, which it seems like the culture, it's like, he still separated the two. Now, but this is my thing with Urbano again. Why don't we don't do that when it comes to Jamaicans, Haitians, and the other quote unquote Caribbean people? Only the ones who speak Spanish that's whiter. You see what I'm saying? Because we can say Blacks and Jamaicans. Jamaicans aren't African Americans. Haitians aren't African Americans. They're literally just in the same boat, technically, minus the white person who enslaved them. That's the main difference. That white person spoke Spanish. My white person spoke English. Like Tainos, right? And Arawaks, they populated the whole Caribbean. That means, guess what? Jamaicans got Taino in them too. Haitians got Clip Island of Haiti, of the DR, whatever, right? But every other Caribbean island has those same Caribs or Native American, whatever indigenous people in them.
Yeah,
they're in their blood too. Now, depending on like cooking a certain food, some recipes got more of this and more of that or whatever the case is. But why don't we do that we don't say, like I said, you didn't grow up saying Black and Puerto Rican. You just, like, when somebody asked you race, you said Black. When somebody asked you ethnicity, you may say Puerto Rican or American, whatever, even though Puerto Rican is owned by America today. But that's a whole another, like, kind of a thing, whatever. But nobody says, I'm half Black and Jamaican, I'm half Black and half Jamaican. Like, so you like, what's your view on this when it comes to hip hop and some, like, who really started it? Was it the Puerto Ricans? Was it the Blacks? And why, when people say Black, you don't think Puerto Rican? Because we think when you say Black, you think Jamaican, you think Haitian, you think damn near you think Honduras with Dr. Sebi, and that's in South America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't be like, is Dr. Sebi Latino or Black? Like, he's a Latino. He's Black though. He spoke Spanish first. He had to learn to speak English. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a place. Like Prince Touche. What's up, Gary from Rough? Yo, that's my boy right there from Rough Riders. He's in the chat. You know what I'm saying? He makes beats. He was there. He was actually the party there before I got there. You know what I'm saying? Gary's an OG. Shout out to Greg. Gary, I saw Oka Boy probably like 2 weeks ago in Queens. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Oka Boy. Oka Boy is one of the in our timeline when we used to be in the studio together. We was like the youngest around that time. You know what I'm saying? Doing our
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, that's Touche. Prince Touche. Check him out. But yeah, so give me your opinion on that Universal Guru.
Okay. So
What do you feel?
for my for my understanding, we had a couple of discussions about this kind of stuff before that. At least starting from my perspective of just general, growing up, in the hood, just around the way, that there's always been a separation from Puerto Ricans and blacks and them trying to distinguish themselves. Now, me being Puerto Rican and African American, a lot of
Perfect.
times,
See, perfect.
yeah,
First, see, you
like
broke it down like that's like yeah.
yeah. So a lot of times too, I mean, when we were growing up when we were young, we didn't really fully understand the difference ourselves. We'd always get
Yeah.
taught, oh, are you black? Are you Puerto Rican? Like it's a separate thing. Once we got aware to know the difference, when I hit like about 18, I understood the difference, started going to college, I surrounded myself with
Yeah.
people who
Start
understood the
calling you
difference.
nigga.
You know? And then pretty much. So at that point, it's like we understood the difference. You're like, cool, like you know what? Like based on lineage, they're mixed with us. I don't know the details and whatever the case is, but I understand you start with indigenous, but then once other invaders came in and they brought African slaves over there and everyone got mixed all together, at least from the best of my knowledge, that's how it went. At a certain point, like Beno said, we all mixed at that point to become what we are now. At a certain point, there's a timeline. And at that point now, you go, okay, we all the same. We all black, unless you don't have that in you. But it's a big mixing pot where if you got some color inside your skin, some melanin, then you got a little bit of black inside you. But growing up, it was always like a distinction when you're around other Puerto Ricans that it's like, hey, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm not black, and that was on a standpoint of just a black person to another Puerto Rican. But now, me being actually having Puerto Rican blood in me, being African American and Puerto Rican, whole black as a whole, it's still
See,
not
the race
accepted
is yeah.
because the, the the blood didn't matter. It was always the look. The blood never
How you
mattered.
look.
So at that point, yeah, it became okay. Well, even though you had that in your name, and then even as I grew up and got older in my young
Latino
20s,
last
and I
name.
started. Yeah, and I had a last name, Puerto Rican last name, because it's my dad's side that's Puerto Rican. So I got the Puerto Rican last name. So when
Like,
I went
where is
into
he? I'm right here. I'm like,
so
where is he?
so so this is the funny thing. Let me tell you something. So as I got a little older and I started working, becoming part of the real world in my young 20s, no longer in high school, whatever the case is, I'd be walking around, whatever the case is, and if anyone encountered me and knew my last name, they would go, oh, oh, your last name, Spanish last name, you know, you Spanish, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm half Puerto Rican, and then they go, cool, cool, and then when they see I didn't speak it, all of a sudden, I didn't have the look, so when I didn't speak it, the jaws dropped like, oh, all of a sudden, like, oh, you ain't this, you ain't part of the culture. All of a sudden now, didn't even care anymore. They don't want to speak to me anymore because it was like, I'm not gonna embrace you if you don't got the look or you don't speak it, and that's it. So at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter if it's in your bloodline, if you don't speak Spanish or you don't look the typical Hispanic look, which is light skin, whatever the case is, then you're rejected. You're rejected. It doesn't matter, it's in your
Okay.
bloodstream.
Now, let me ask both parties: is that the typical look? Right? Because as Brandon knows, my favorite country in Latin America is not Hispanic, it's Latino. Brazil, majority black. Now, like when we say the typical look, I know what we mean because media portrays and this and that, but like any other ethnic group in, say, the Caribbean, we say it a lot the way we speak, but is there a look for an ethnic group, right? And now let's better could break it down to different, even on the continent of Africa, or whatever. Like where, like if I say, yo, you look Jamaican, okay, I could maybe have a stereotype. Maybe I got a tank top with a bunch of holes in it or some yellow pants. I don't know, but is there a look for to be? You know what I'm saying? Like there is, but is there really? Because every look you could describe, I could give you an example of an exact opposite. You could say, oh, this white. You could say Ricky Martin. I could say Celia Cruz. You could say this person. I could say that, like Roberto Clemente. Like there are other, like, what do we mean when we say a look? Okay, a little wavy hair, Okay, the other Caribbeans got Saint. You know, I got my cousin Marcus. His dad's from Saint something, whatever. And he look, you know, I'm Caribbean. I got that. You know that way. What? Okay, like so they just Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? So when we say the look, what are we talking about? What do we mean when we say that?
Well,
anybody? Yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
Dante,
I'll
go ahead.
jump in with that. All right, so to me, I'm gonna say that generally, even though there shouldn't be a defined look, because there could be any kind of look for the most part, Hispanics have probably the biggest variation in the way they look than almost any other kind of background because they're so mixed. But generally speaking, I think the look of a background, one of those backgrounds, is the look that the majority of the group wants to be defined as. And that is what the key aspect of the problem is. Because if they go and say, this is what I want to be defined as, then it's like saying, well, anyone who doesn't look this way, I don't accept you. And, I don't know if you want me to run off into the whole hip hop conversation and where that drags into, but should I jump into that a little bit?
If you want to, take it. Go ahead. Let's go.
All right. So when it comes to accolades or benefits, then the group, the Hispanic groups that don't always claim Black will then claim it when it's for the benefit. When it's for the negative, then they'll go, I'm not part of it. So that defined look is always like, okay, this is the look I ideally want to have, which is usually close to white. But I'll come and grab hold of those Black roots when it benefits me. So in terms of hip hop, yeah, we are in the Bronx. We started blah, blah in the Bronx because you grew up neighbors to the rest of the Black people in the Bronx. So you want to get a piece of that. But then when it comes to you getting to Hollywood and whatever the case is, you change your whole attitude. Case in point, a lot of people give a lot of flack to
Manuel Miranda's.
There's that. But even jumping over.
Like, this is
yes. Yeah. True, 100%. And in the Heights, almost everyone is dark skinned. But even if you take it back a little further, back to our time growing up, where you had J-Lo, one of the first people who was representing that. Everyone would always say about how when she's in Hollywood, you're trying to play white because you got that look of white. But then you would claim, I'm in the South Bronx. I grew up in the South Bronx, hip hop. I'm all that, and live in color and this and that. And it's like, you can see how you play both sides when it benefits you, All
right. What do you feel, Bano? Because Bano from the South, he comes to New York all the time. But like the regional in America is different. Like I'm pretty sure like where we at in New York and at least the top Northeast Coast, the way we mix and stuff is the way that our city is built is different. On the West Coast, I know it's way different with the whole Latino, like it's it's a different thing over there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now in the South, what do you feel about this coming from your perspective?
Yo, I think it's pretty similar, like anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I mean anywhere, like anywhere in the world. The way Universal Guru expressed about them playing both sides or claiming one side when it's beneficial, right? Over the other, I think that's something that is historically accurate. People we talk about people that are mixed, passing, right? As a means of social survival, right? As a means of being able to gain access into certain arenas that they might not have had access to if they looked one way over the other, right? So it's a historically accurate thing. Another thing, I like what brother said about the look being what was deemed acceptable by the majority of the group. I would encourage the study of what's called miscegenation, right? Miscegenation is a systematic process of actually, like, it's kind of like ethnic cleansing, right? Through somewhat of a selective breeding process, through inviting people of a lighter or whiter hue or particular hue to come into your society, with promise incentives or things of that nature to encourage them to come and for the most part lighten or brighten up your group, your population, right? To bring a particular admixture, right? So Mexico actually did something like this. If I'm not mistaken, Brazil might even did something like this. You know what I'm saying?
Every
Huh?
European colonized nation did that. To Portuguese used to pay people to move to Brazil to get
Exactly.
money, go there, and because it was like, oh, we enslaved too much, and
Yeah.
it got too like the inmates are running the asylum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a thing of they understand based on the global world economy, if you will, that your skin tone is it's like a currency. You know what I'm saying? Or at least it's like a passport or a visa. And if you want access, there's a particular promoted standard of beauty, so to speak, that is deemed acceptable, right? So yeah, they did these things traditionally, and they did it intentionally, right? And it's something that you still find, like you can go to the continent, that's something that even happens on the continent. You know what I mean? So I think that's an accurate assessment. Um, Now here's the interesting thing, though. I think that because these people are mixed, right? They kind of have it to where they can walk in and out of the in and out of the rooms, as they please and whatnot. And sometimes which group they identify with will be based on the culture, right? And I think that's the biggest thing when you're dealing with that group. What culture? How much or how many Africanisms, right, or Europeanisms, right, or indigenisms, right? You coined the term right there, right? Is actually in their culture or in their house, right, in their lifestyle, that they were raised on. You know what I mean? Like, it will kind of determine what side they gravitate towards. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. Like down here, in New Orleans, there's historically there was the Creole, what we would consider Creole, were kind of like their own. They were like their own group, their own class. They weren't black per se, enough at least, right? And they weren't white per se enough, and they kind of did their own thing, right? And some of them were light enough to try and pass, and they were able to do so and whatnot. And they over time kind of developed their own let's say subculture, if you will. And that's another important thing, because you talk about race, you talk about ethnicity, you talk about nationality. You talk about Jamaicans, for example. Jamaican is a nationality, but you got white Jamaicans, you got Jewish Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? You got and
Chinese, East
Chinese
Asian.
Jamaican. Okay, yeah,
legendary
East Indian
Miss Pat.
Jamaicans.
had the first hip hop store or whatever. That sold by like whatever she did. Like she's Chinese or whatever you will call that, white Chinese or whatever. I kind of add white and black to everything now. That's my way of learning. Like I
Okay.
think that's like the part, whatever. But yeah, you correct with that.
Yeah, yeah. And how you say, I'm sure that there are some things based on location, right, and climate. There are some cultural universals based on that, right? Based on the interaction with different groups. I'm sure there's some cultural universals that we can say, okay, this is fundamentally or essentially Jamaican. But then there are some intricacies, I'm sure, some particulars that, okay, this is Chinese Jamaican, right? This is East Indian Jamaican. This is Jewish.
Oh, you got some East, yeah. They call them coolies in New York. We call them coolies.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like there's some universal things, and then there's some particular things, and those particular things might be enough to create a subgroup to where they maintain a certain distinction about themselves and amongst themselves, right? So I'm saying as far as Puerto Rico goes, I'm almost certain you have a similar situation going on where you probably got Puerto Rican Jews, or and they probably only deal with themselves, right?
Let me show you the a Jamaican right here. This is Jamaican.
Yo, the brother look like he's chiming in.
Is that the Jamaican look? This is the most famous Jamaican present day. Is he Jamaican? Does he look Jamaican? You see what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
give me the light, show the light, Sean Paul, da da da. He's like, you see what I'm saying?
Jamaican, saying Jamaican is like saying American.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's a nationality. You know what I'm saying? But when they on the application, they ask you what's your race. You say black. They ask you what's your ethnicity. Is something different. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think people don't understand. Anybody can be Puerto Rican, by nationality, but when you start talking ethnicity and culture, it's it can get a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? A little bit more Pacific, as they say. Specific.
So why do they not say this to Universal Guru all the time about government stuff? Oh, your mic is not muted. I can't hear you.
Nah.
Oh, now I can hear you. Yeah, it was like
you can hear me.
Or whatever. Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, he was trying to time.
I gotta not have the headphones in, because when I have these headphones, then it takes out the mic part, but my other ones would die on me. So, what you were just saying there about now I had a brain fart because of the whole mic stuff. Well, I want to take it back actually to something else that Bano was saying before, and I was dealing with my whole headset stuff, so I didn't get a chance to chime in. When you were saying about, being able to jump on both, walk both lines, and you can go from being this to being that, and essentially, I think it's kind of funny because I get that concept. I get the idea of survival. I like that term they use, for their benefit, for their survival, jump into the place that works best for them. But I think one of the issues with that is, and we probably always seen this too, you see a group, say even during the days, I remember seeing this in high school one time before, where you had like a group of Puerto Ricans, and one of my friends, I wouldn't hang with this group, but it was one of my friends who was black, and he would go with the group of Puerto Ricans. And I always looked at him as like, you're the outcast of them. They accept you, but you're not really one of them. And for the Puerto Ricans who play both lines, where they'll go from, I'm with the white group, now I'm with the black group, you could either be accepted with the black group or play the other side with the white group, but you're not accepted by them. And so now you're like, they're lackey. And it's like, What's up? You can hear me?
Yeah, like a lower tier. They're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. So it's kind of like the idea of like the big fish in the in the ocean, or you want to be in the big fish in the small pond. It's like you should rather want to be around the group that accepts you than the one that doesn't. And though you might feel that it's a better survival tool, but you're not accepted. You're like now they're lackey, like you said, or less than, versus being with the group that is accept you and hold you up like, yeah, you're one of us. And if anything happens, like we all going through it together. So, and even though I get it, they can pick and choose what they want. My opinion is it just makes sense to be with the group that you're accepted versus just straggling along just to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
mm.
Yeah.
I want to play a clip real quick and get your guys' opinion on. It's right here. Hold on a second. Add the stream. Let me see. Stop screen. I'm gonna add this right here. Share screen. Okay. Boom. Let's go play this real quick.
After the Spaniards left, about like 8 days,
Yeah.
United States said.
Is that why
Philippines too.
Louisa? Louisa is blacker people than me and Louisa.
No, Puerto Ricans originally black, bro.
That's right.
Yeah.
Damn it, talk that talk. Talk that talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's, Tainos,
Right.
dark
You hear it?
skin,
Right.
and it's the reason why when my hair grows into an afro.
Right.
No product needed.
Right. Yes.
But that's in us. So like when people talk about the debate of like Puerto Ricans and hip hop and all that.
No, that's where I'm going. That's
Yeah.
Joe has said. Hold on, let's salute you because
cheers.
Give you your flowers,
You got
man.
it too,
Okay, your flowers, motherfucker. Make some noise for crazy.
Okay, hold on.
Everyone is
to the adventurers.
Okay, let that play real quick. Hold on. Okay, yeah, you heard that? So, all right, there's another clip real quick because that one. Hold on, there's a little commercial. Your dad look like crazy legs. It's a good idea of everybody. His dad look like that. And also, you have a brother. You do have a brother who and give me your opinion on this right here. Like you resemble more your mom's side. I would say your older brother resemble maybe more your dad's side. So like your brother would be he's lighter than me, I guess. Like you know what I'm saying? So do people accept him more? Like have you been around where they say, oh, he's whatever, but then maybe not include you growing like what's your dynamic with that?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, he's actually I think he might be a little darker than you, or some people say, I don't know. I always thought
he ain't dark. Nah.
I was gonna tell it that. But I don't know.
I believe what you saying. Hey, Universal Guru, I believe you, sir. That
They'll be looking at white people, be like, "Yo, you the same complexion."
But the thing about it was this: is that always for some reason while I was growing up, I never felt I seen a difference in complexion between me and him. It was funny. And one day, my great grandmother pointed it out to me from my mom's side, so from my black side, because she grew up like. I think she was born like 1914 or something like that, so she's seen it all. Yeah,
around the same,
yeah. So it was kind of straight up like that movie, The Butler. Like you went through all the phases, you know what I mean? And she pointed it out to me one day, and she was like, I'm always just so happy that nobody ever treated you guys differently. And I'm like, what do you mean? We look the same. Like I can't compute the difference because back in her time, the littlest shade difference was a big thing. Where when I was growing up, you had to be many shades difference for you to be considered light skinned. You know what I mean? You had to really be like Sean Paul to be called light skinned. We knew that wasn't white. So it was like, ooh, Sean Paul isn't white, but we call that light skin. Where back in those days, my great grandma, it was like, cool. If you was like the difference between like Rudy Huxtable and Vanessa Huxtable, it was like, okay, you a big difference. You know what I mean? So I wasn't used to that. So I never really got that growing up. But the only time I ever heard it was like way down the line from my great grandmother. But I never got it any other time of seeing people being like, oh yeah, he's light skinned and you, whatever. You know, so yeah, and I never really experienced that. But then again, I will say this, and you know, my cousin, you know that
Yeah.
where we grew up was almost like
This for the Ben don't know. Like I said, he has like white Puerto Rican side, like a whole. He has that side too. Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like a whole, like not the in the between side. He got the whole, like they live.
Yeah, straight up, like white.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny about that, before I even tackle onto what I was gonna get into, is that so on that side of my family, I have a bunch of aunts, and they all straight Puerto Rican, and they still
Straight Puerto Rican. See what I'm saying? Like, what is
and,
he white? Like
and now, well, you know, just in the sense that they're not blended like I am, in the sense, you know what I mean? I'm
okay,
straight.
for mother, yeah. Both,
Yeah, one parent who's African American, one parent who's Puerto Rican. So meaning not that, because that kind of changes things up as well. But
Yes.
even then, you could tell most of their features, they have closer to more ethnic black hair. Their skin complexion is more olive, so it's not like the pale white type look. It's light. It's
Ricky
light,
Martin, not Ricky
but it's
Martin.
olive. Yeah. And what's funny is, so all of them naturally gravitated to, you know, as far as like the men they got with were like white men. And you know, probably because of growing up and this and that, you know, part of the culture, whatever the case is. Now, my dad from their side of the family was like, he loved black women, like
He was
really
like,
dark black women. That's his thing. And what's interesting is this. So one of my cousins on that side, his dad is white, and his mom, which is my aunt, is Puerto Rican. And he identifies as black more than anything else. And it's so funny because his afro curls up like anyone else's afro. He's always like has the hood mentality. He's all with the joking. He's just like my dad, likes dark skinned women. He had a kid with a dark skinned woman. He like loves that. He don't get with light skinned girls at all. Yeah. Now it's funny, and he wasn't even really grown up deep in the hood like that, but it's just who he is. Like it just came out. What's funny is I remember one time, like I was out and about, and then someone was like mentioning reference to my cousin, and they was like, "Oh yeah, you know your cousin? He's you know, Irish and Puerto Rican." I was like, "Huh? What cousin are you talking about?" Because in my mind, I didn't relate him to Irish. So when they said that, I was like, "I'm Irish. I don't got an Irish cousin." And it was like, it didn't even dawn on me. I was like, my cousin's black and Puerto Rican was the first thought I had in my mind, even though I'm Puerto Rican and whatever. But that was just my mind, because it was just like, you're the same as me. But so I kind of digressed and went off a little bit. But so what I was gonna say before was wow, I lost my train of thought again. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Maybe the look. You talking about the looks? Look.
I think it was really just going off of like the whole yeah, just something with the whole with being in the hood and just the way we grow up and stuff like. Oh, I remember now. I'm sorry. Got it. All right, cool. Backtrack to my thought. So me and my cousin here, Knuckles, we grew up in what I like to call the Black Mecca. I say this all the time, and the reason why I say
look at Beto.
And I call it the Black Mecca.
It ain't New Orleans.
Is because
what's the Black Mecca?
I said the Black Mecca.
What's the Black Mecca?
So it's Mount Vernon. And I call it I call it that. I'm gonna tell you why I call it that. I call it
money
that.
Money earning.
A lot of people don't know is that, so right off the bat, almost no one will ever argue that New York City is like the biggest city in the world. You know what I mean? It has the biggest population, the most famous place, whatever the case is. That could be disputed, but for the most part, everyone will say that. Everyone here knows that when you live in New York City, everyone likes to live outside of the 5 boroughs. The 5 boroughs, they do their messing, and they like to live outside of it. A lot of people sometimes. And in Mount Vernon, you have a bunch of black owners. When we grew up, you have black owners who own everything. They own the businesses, own the stores. Everyone knew each other. You have black people in the inside City Hall, black mayors. One of the mayors was my age.
It's like Atlanta for like a small city. It's like it's very, but in New York where it's not.
But in New York, yeah. So now it's like you're right next to like the biggest city in the world, but a place that black people are completely running. Like that concept might seem unheard of because so many people, you know, may not even take advantage of it to say like, let's build in a place right next to the biggest city in the world, and you have none but black people running it. But my point that I was going to get at is that growing up, we never felt that feeling like black was inferior. So when I turned 18 and started going down to, Manhattan, and I started going to school and this and that, it kind of blew me away when people would be talking about like, oh, yeah, blah, blah. And like, black people is inferior to this. And I was like, what? Like, yo, we used to rock picks in our hair every day at school. All of us, like everyone in school. And like, if you couldn't hold a pick in your hair just off the natural strength of your hair, you felt like the outcast. You know what I mean? Like that's how it was. Like it was so
different types of blacks too. So it was
all types. We had Jamaican.
Yeah,
we had like all types, different Hispanic ones and everything. And it was just we all black. And so we never had that feeling of, and that's part of the reason why I say about the whole light skin, dark skin thing. Unless you were Sean Paul level of light skin, there was so many of us that we were like, no, this is dark skin. Whatever shade falls underneath that kind of medium range, we were like, you're all dark skin. And everything way above that is light skin. But like, we never had that differentiation because no one was treated differently for that. And if anything, you were treated better for being dark skin. Like you were treated better.
Jamaicans came in and the locks, the hair, like that wasn't considered even like. I remember I wanted some. Like it wasn't like an ugly thing. It was like
100%.
Jamaican has a very strong culture. Like when they start coming in, it was like everybody want to copy them. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? A lot of them,
like that dark skin locks.
I remember
aggressiveness. It was like it wasn't bad or scary. It was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, we started talking that fake Jamaican accent.
Yep. A lot of them, when I was growing up here, a lot of them adapted the ways of like. Some of them didn't even want dreads. They wanted cornrows because we were so integrated that they were like, I like the cornrows. Yeah. I like the box braids. And it was just like, we all just kind of integrated the same styles. Like you had people who weren't Jamaican, like, I want to get dreads. You had people who were Jamaican, like, I want box braids. You know what I mean? It was just.
Some of you wouldn't know. You'd be like, you Jamaican? And it'd be like vice versa. Like, your parents, you'd be like, you're Jamaican all the time. Like,
they called me Jamaican several times. I had people be like, "Are you Jamaican?" And they thought I was Jamaican.
Just go to the city. That's the culture of where we at.
Yeah.
100%. Let me play this other clip real quick. See if it's lined up. See what they're talking about. So I'll go add to the stream. All right, here we go.
Puerto Rican people's version of rock and roll. It's not going to be successful. It's going to be just successful to them. But you guys went on. This was not a world tour. This was the first tour, but it was in America, right?
No. So there was two.
Everyone is thinking that this is Black people's and Puerto Rican people's version of rock and roll. It's not going to be successful. It's going to be just successful to them. But you guys went on. This was not a world tour. This was the first tour, but it was in America, right?
No. So there was.
Okay, you see how he said Black people and Puerto Rican people. That's my issue. Like, why do they keep? Do you understand like the banner, like how people would juxtapose the two when they're the same? It's like sometimes people ask me certain things, like "What are you?" whatever, right? And then I'll make a joke, and I'll be like, "Nah, I'm half Black and half Sagittarius." Like. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you half Sagittarius? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you, like, I'll just say, like, people, like, why they all, like I mentioned before, they don't say, oh, hip hop is Blacks and Jamaicans. Because I guess Jamaicans fall under Black. See what I'm saying? Why Puerto Ricans never want to fall under? What's your thoughts on that?
I say, okay, so. You know, I've had a lot of experience with Jamaicans. You know, dated, you know, for a good minute in college, you know, Jamaican sister. Jamaicans like other, you know, we would consider to be Black groups, right? Definitely, while they might consider themselves Black, they're not Black like we're Black, right?
What do you mean?
What I mean by that?
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Culturally, right?
Exactly. There's a sense of nationality and a sense of culture that they share that they feel is specific to them that we do not have. So here's the thing, right?
Absolutely.
When you say you say black Jamaican, right? You say white Jamaican, right? You can even say Jamaican American, right? You can actually say it. You can say Jamaican American. This and the third, right? But to say black American is a very specific thing, and it does not include. It does not include Jamaicans or Haitians.
Absolutely. You're right. I'll give you that. But far as race goes, nobody's saying that. Like I said, Jamaicans aren't African American. Yes, Nigerians aren't Black Americans, or people like yes, 100%. There's different cultures, but on the race, when you just say black, you're just talking about a race. All right, I got you. This is what happens too, because this is what happens at least in the Hispanic world a lot. This is now. Let me see if you get this part right here. This is what people sometimes it's two levels to it. Sometimes it's an ignorant level. I mean, no, sometimes it's a racist level where they mean it to be racist, but sometimes they don't. So a lot of times when people, especially in the Hispanic community, when they say black, they're meaning Black American. So they're not being disrespectful to say I'm not black. Sometimes they're meaning. Sometimes they think black is synonymous with American. But I don't look at. I'm not meaning that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say Black American, I'm gonna say Black American. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like using the term African American to mean every black person, because it doesn't mean every black person. But sometimes they are meaning when they say they're not black. They ain't talking about America. They talking about period. So it's like it's two sides to it. Sometimes they like I ain't black at all. Sometimes they mean I'm not American.
That I say that's not a I say that's a Dominican thing, right? That's a Puerto Rican thing. You know what I'm saying? I say I haven't really experienced it to be like a Jamaican or Haitian thing. Definitely a Dominican and let's say Brazilian, the Puerto Rican thing. You know what I'm saying? Where they will definitely identify. But you know what? At the same thing, it's not no different from black folk kid claiming to be fucking Cherokee or some shit.
I never understood that.
I grew up going to powwows and shit. You know
Yo, it's the same shit. Like when them folks say they're not black, they identify more with Taino or you know, they consider themselves to be Latino or something. Like it's something different, right? It's something in and of itself. Like, you know, let's take Egypt, right? You have people there that claim to be black or African. You got people there, you know, that claim to be Arab, right? Then you got folk there that claim to be Egyptian.
Ooh, break it down. Yeah, that's fact. Yeah.
And it's you know, they don't claim either one. As a matter of fact, if you call them, some people, if you call them Arab, they'll get very upset.
I did.
Right?
Nigga tried to curse me out. He was like, "No, what?" In the clothing store, the first time he went, I called him Arab. He was like, "No, man, he went crazy. He was like, see my skin?" I was like, "Nigga, you look like DJ Khaled. Like, I don't get it."
Yeah, and see that's the whole tricky thing of it, man, because you know, like
I was like, "What?" Was like,
okay. taking Puerto Ricans, right? Anybody from quote unquote Latin America, right? That
and Latin America is not even one. It's basically based on conquistador. Like, it's not even like because you got people in Mexico where they both Latino, right?
Yeah, take over that.
But they culturally, like, then, like, even the way we treat each other, at least in New York, Mexicans aren't treated the same as those Caribbean Hispanics. They're not like they don't even connect the same way. Like, no, like on some social, like Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and Cubans, they brothers. Like, it's like they Mexicans is like over there.
Yeah.
It's because of how they move. Because of how they move, right? It's because of how they move. And
same with, I'm just saying that's the way, at least culturally in upper, like, even though we're technically on their shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we like they get treated real bad. Like it's like it's even, you know what I'm saying? So like it's different. Like the Caribbean is more of a connection than.
You want to know something though? What's funny? If I could just chime in, what you say there is true. That like it's because the Caribbean groups don't accept them, because their acceptance is not based on us. It's not based on any other American group except them. If the other Hispanic groups accepted them, they would be accepted. But if they don't accept them, because the reason why is if no one else speaks Spanish, really, like in the hood, like, you know, we don't really speak Spanish. And the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, whatever, they speak Spanish, but they also speak English. And they integrate us into them to whatever level they're going to let us integrate with them when we're in the hood. But Mexicans don't know English, a lot of them, and they just know Spanish. And if the other Caribbean, ethnic groups incorporated them more, then they would be our link to them. So I think the biggest cause of them being segregated is because those groups won't bring them in. You know what I mean? Because we don't speak the language, so we can't bring them in. You know, that's just my thought.
Okay. Go ahead, Bano. What you was breaking down?
No, I think.
Are we interrupting you, Bano? You had too long? Like,
No, I'm good. It ain't popping no damn way, right? So yeah.
What about you, Guru? You good?
Yeah, I'm good for now.
Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? The streets is dead. But the big thing, right, with the groups, in Latin America that got a little bit of this and that, right, to where they can either pick sides or decide that they're going to be their own thing. Again, it comes down to cultural affinities. It comes down to social, economic, and political access. And it seems like you want to say, because Universal Guru, he keeps saying Black Puerto Ricans, right? Or Black and Puerto Rican. Or he says I'm half Black, half Puerto Rican, right? And
half African American, half Puerto Rican.
Hey, either way it go.
No, it's different. It's different though. That's different.
I say it's not really. Not really.
He used the race. He's saying the race. He's saying he's one race. He's saying he's Black. Period. Now his ethnicity is, what I'm saying? Like it's like saying I'm half Jamaican and half Tobago or whatever. You could be, what I'm saying, like ethnicity and culture. You could have two of those. I'm half Barbados. One is Bayesian and one's Jamaican. Like
no,
that's
wait. It's because your father's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
Now your father, is he Black or is he white or is he Creole? Is he, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. I definitely gonna say that he's Black because he has Black features.
He's like a light-skinned Black, like he looks like he looks similar. Picture Crazy Legs with like a tan. You know what I'm saying? Different features. He's not Ricky. He's not Ricky Martin. He ain't that guy. He ain't Ricky Martin.
Yeah. He had an afro growing up, just like
the afro.
Ricky Martin is Puerto Rican.
Let me show you Ricky Martin right now.
I know Ricky Martin. I'm asking, is he Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Is he Black?
No.
I see. Now hold on. Right. So if that's the case, why do you have a problem with the cat on Drink Champs saying Black and Puerto Ricans?
I'm gonna break it down for you right now. This is the issue right here. Because another dude from Violator.
I get what you're saying though.
This is my point right here. This is the bit right here. Let's wrap it up with this right here. Now the issue is this, because the dude was a A&R who signed a violator, and he went on Drink Champs. Latinos need to get some respect in this hip hop, and we was here, blah blah. It was like, bro, when we say black, but not meaning we meaning the whole diaspora. Like, relax. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying like nobody's saying yo Jamaicans need more respect or Haitians need more. Nobody's saying. I mean, we're not breaking down every ethnic group to be. We saying black. Now I get it. If you identify not as black, but one of those ethnicities, like Beno's saying, like say Ricky Martin. He's one of those kind of characters where he's like, yo, but you saying black, and maybe you mean Puerto Rican too, but I'm not a black. One of my best friends growing up, my nigga Dre, Universal Guru, no, perfect example. Universal Guru, black Puerto Rican. My friend Dre, who right hand man, I should get him in a live right now, but he probably busy. He got like 20 kids. He every hustle when I had the nightclub, he like every grimy, like whatever, right there. He was so white. Puerto Ricans would look at me and be like, yo, Knuckles, why you got this white dude here with me? Like, and I'm like, he's Puerto Rican. like he was, but he was like so like he go to Lucy's store, but he used to smoke cigarettes. He would go to the store and buy Lucy's. They were like, you trying to set me up? It's like they wouldn't even sell. Like, he was that white. Now the point is, this is my thing right here. What I'm saying. So my issue is this. And shout out to my baby moms who I'm going through a little issue with, whatever. She Puerto Rican, she black. You know what I'm saying? But so the issue is this right here. It seems like one side is co-opting the whole ethnic group as a non-black thing. So yes, if in a group there's blacks and there's white side or whatever and everything in the middle, if you want to say hip hop or whatever the argument is, the same way you would say, oh, Universal Guru, he's an Afro Latino. Roberto Clemente is an Afro Latino. Like when the black one, we're a special Latino. You put the Afro on. You put the Lala Anthony's a Afro Latina. What like we're not just.
I don't even like that term
because we're making a distinction, right? Because now, if you're gonna do that, okay, Ricky Martin is a Euro Latino. So if you want to say,
I agree.
So if you want to say Fat Joe, whoever want to be like, yo, cause say the white Latinos were there too. Identify yourself as that. Don't just make yourself regular. Because what you're doing is it's like in Malcolm X in his movies, like you're using a word game where you're like, instead of me saying, if I say I have good hair and it's opposite of your hair, I don't gotta say you have bad hair, because me by saying what I am, I didn't saying what you are. If I say, oh, light skin means fair skin, what does it mean when your skin? Like, see what I'm saying? Like, I don't gotta say dark skin means that. I just gotta identify myself. So if I identify myself as the true Latino or the whatever, that makes you something else. And I don't like that. So yes, there are white Latinos that were there. Say, all right, yeah, give it up for the white Latinos. Like, don't make yourself, because what you're doing is, what about, because in New York, like I said, I know people who I grew up in, I lived in the Bronx for years, and it's like I live in a building where one parent would be super dark, one parent would be super white, and it's like, and sometimes I'd be like, they'll be talking shit about black people, whatever, or whatever the situation is. I'd be like, I look at the black person, I'm like, you don't feel no kind of way, like, just be quiet, like this is like this sit there, like you don't even like. It is like you do exist, like black people in the you are here, like stop being a separate side in the basement kind of a thing, and that's my issue with it. So when they say Latino, then they mean everything. This you're not saying black. That's what they really mean.
Well, I want to chime in, because something that Beno was saying, and I think I understand the point that he was coming from, was that, like, even though you kind of dissected that, it made it make more sense. But I think it's like saying, well, if Puerto Rican can be both black and white, then as a group, it's almost like saying, if we say Puerto Rican, then we're saying we're both white and black, and it's not trying to mix it.
But they're not doing that. They're not doing that.
Yo, I agree.
And
But
that's
you're
what I
right.
was gonna
If
say.
you do that,
And
that
that's
would be that would be correct. If you
and I
say
was gonna say that's where when you chimed in with the whole thing about when they started this whole Afro thing, Afro Latino thing, it started
so is
separating.
Zaldana,
It
Black
started,
Latino, you know what I'm saying? Like she
yeah,
played the girlfriend in the drum
yeah,
line or
yeah.
whatever. She was
It
a
started,
black girl at HBCU.
yeah,
She's whatever the fuck she is. Like she, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
She's not
So in that
regular Latino,
aspect,
Afro, like why she gotta be Afro Latino?
so
Nigga,
yeah,
you
so
white.
I agree
Like,
with you there. In that aspect, it started
regular Latina.
separating
You
it,
was regular Latino.
separating
Like that
everything from the point of like, hey, if some people wanted to accept it as we're all one thing, now you have people trying to separate it. But I think also then there becomes almost a dispute of the ones inside the culture might be saying, I don't want you to separate us. I want us to all be this Hispanic Puerto Rican culture. I don't want the white ones to separate. So now it's like you might have, they may not be saying it, but I'm sure there's a feud within their own group that's saying like, hey, like I want us to say this unified thing. Because at the end of the day, 500 years from now, like you said this one time before, Knuckles, my cousin, there won't be black and white because we'll all be so mixed that we'll just say we're just this. You know what I mean? And they're kind of already at that. Technically, Puerto Ricans are already at that, but you know the cultures around us kind of put that pressure on them to say you got to be this or that. When in actuality, they already are that. They're like we are the white and black together. You know, to a degree. So I get both of your points. And I think that's where it kind of meshes because they have this internal conflict within them that's trying to say some of them.
Vader, Vader, like,
go ahead,
Vader.
Go ahead.
Steven.
Hey, yo, I agree. You know what I mean? I think that Puerto Rican, when used, especially Puerto Ricans here. No, I ain't saying that, right? You know, Puerto Ricans here in the States, when they use that, it is something that unifies them. I think it would be like the equivalent of people in New Orleans saying they're Creole, you know, instead of black or white or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that it's used in the exact same way. They're not just this or that, right? I'm this. Right? Huh? I think that's exactly what that means, and then again, they're connecting it to a landmass of ethnic origin. You know what I mean? It's something that again, right now, you have. I'm pretty sure you have identity issues. You know, that result from history, that result from political, social, political, and economic challenges that may be taking place in Latin America and in the Caribbean that that spark, right? You know, kind of like the same let's call them like Sankofa movements, right? Like you have here, where there's an element of our people that seek to reconnect to our roots. You know what I mean? And then there are those that never really separated from it, or at least we still maintain a lot of cultural African cultural residuals and let's say Africanisms, right? That we've maintained. These things exist also in Puerto Rico. Yo, like I can tell you straight up, New Orleans, right? Brazil, Cuba, Puerto Rico, all have a particular expression of what we can call African traditional religion.
Yeah, of course.
Right? That is common. Yeah. And it's a
and it's frowned upon amongst general people of, at least as far as like I say, like in Puerto Rico, maybe DR, but a lot of Puerto Ricans, if you talk about like, Santeria and shit,
yeah, it's the same. Yo, it's the same.
My baby moms she be whipping that.
Yo, you know what I mean? It's like this is something.
Yeah, the bowl. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yo, I think that the more I think that
I might be caught with that.
certain social dynamics, right? Kind of spark certain trends and movements, and you have generations that come into existence that will be seeking to get in touch with this side, especially if, let's say, your hue, right, your skin tone, locks you out of having certain access. Then you're going to take up arms as the underdog for the underdog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a natural thing, and it's something that happens. But when they came over here, right? We was already here, right? And I'm talking about those that identify as Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. When they came here, we were already here, and like most immigrant groups, right? When you come here, they stick together, right, and maintain their ethnic identity as a group, and move kind of as a group, for their survival socially, right? So I think that that's all that is. Now it does become some other stuff, but hey,
Americans don't do that the same way of these other ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, people do, but they there's a difference between the Hispanic. No, I don't want to say Hispanic. The ones who identify as black and not black. Not 100%, because a lot of us we mix a lot. Like, we growing up, it ain't no, even the whiter ones, we still get we still do our thing and mix and culturally whatever. But I would say like a minority group, like a small group of them don't. You know what I'm saying? But largely 100%, yeah. Like in New York, everybody has a Hispanic family. Like that's normal. You know what I'm saying? That's not even an abnormal. You'll see a white Hispanic with 2 black kids and shit. Like that's a common thing. That's not a. Well, go ahead.
I wanted to actually touch on something also that Beno was saying before about how groups that want to keep their ethnic culture or heritage, still bright, like they wanted to stand out because they don't want to lose that. I think that you got 2 factors that affect, like you were saying before, in the whole like playing both sides of the field when it comes to the accolades of a group versus like, what side do I want to be on? You have the race aspect of it, and then you have the cultural aspect of it.
The race part, yes.
And yeah, I think sometimes too, we may not know the aspect that somebody's most bothered by or why they're doing it. I think one of you guys said this before about how if somebody does it for cultural reasons, we kind of a little bit understand more. They're like, okay, they got a rich culture. They don't want to be blended into seem like they don't have that rich culture or something that makes them who they are. But then if they're doing it for race reasons, then it appears bad. And I think that's a big distinction. Also, too, I wanted to point out that when it comes to that whole cultural thing and having a rich culture, it's unfortunate that African American and a lot of people know African American kind of gets thrown out as this kind of like generic term for a generic group that is nothing. You know what I mean? That they aren't African, because Africans look at us like, okay, you're not us. Some of them, I'm not saying they hate us, but they will sometimes make the distinction. And then you have whatever other groups too, like you're not one of us either. You're just this thing. And I think
I'm not black. I'm Ethiopian.
Yeah, and so culturally, like anybody. This is the sad part about it, but it's almost like anyone who is willing to accept to say that they're African American, or even sometimes when they say black, because it get blended into the African American thing, at least here in the U.S.
I hate that.
Then what happens is you're agreeing to the absence of culture, because the truth is African Americans have no culture other than what we created for ourselves. So when we create hip hop, it's almost like we're creating our own culture from scratch. And then everyone else who has their rich culture for
Like
that
a
state,
lineage, like a,
yeah,
oh,
many
okay,
hundreds
okay.
of years ago, they're like kind of like, okay, like if I accept that I'm that, I'm accepting that I have no culture,
Oh
because
no,
unfortunately, we're kind of given that stigma of having no culture, which is why we made hip hop our culture. So I think that also becomes a part of conversation too. You know, maybe something we could jump in for a later time where we really get deep into understanding, you know, how that affects people. Because even like Jamaicans would be like, yeah, I'm black, but guess what? Like, I'm Jamaican. I have my culture, and they live it. They love it. You know, Puerto
That's cool.
Ricans too.
That's cool. That's cool. But they
No,
still say
yeah,
they black. You know what I'm saying?
but
Even the
but
white
but
ones. Even Sean Paul. Like
no,
Sean
true,
Paul said
true,
he black.
true. But
Nigga
and
Puerto Rican like a
100%,
motherfucker.
100%.
That
And
nigga
so
Puerto Rican like
and so that's what I'm saying, is that between the group of Puerto Ricans, you could divide that into the half that wants to separate for race reasons, and then the half that wants to separate because they don't want to lose their culture aspect. You know what I mean? And maybe that could be an argument too. Now, I don't think there's as much of that. I think it's more the race reason, but there's still that
because culture
argument.
doesn't mean like adopt like collabing or not collabing, but joint like merging your race with in my opinion, there's only black and white in the world, as far as what Europeans created. Like because every other ethnic group has a black version and a white version. You know what I'm saying? Besides blacks and whites. Like,
Well,
no
like,
black version.
wait, but like Beno was saying, there's also indigenous, and that could be a third thing.
Yes, but
And
Yo, I say that's some cat there, man. I say, yo, absolutely. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Let's say you're saying black and white is race, right?
yeah, as far as with the concept of what was in Europe with the whole that kind of thing.
like Europe made up.
So
No, that is that's far as that's a European construct, isn't that?
Yeah.
Perhaps. I'm not.
People didn't. I'm saying that the way, the way we use it and subjected to it today. I'm not saying other people didn't have versions of it. Same thing with the whole slavery thing. Oh, slavery. People been doing not this version. Not this one. That we, like, so that kind of thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, other groups always did slave, whatever, but not the way our situation is a different type. So as far as what they created, the term, the usage, the blah blah blah, black in the Constitution, Negro, color, whatever, it's black and it's white. You know what I'm saying? Irish people who were enslaved and messed up by Europeans at one point, they jump into, now they're white. You know what I'm saying? The European Jews, oh, now they're white. It's like, so they were considered different things and stuff, but is this really black? You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as what we're the issue that we're under, the thing that we're under. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no constitution of black people, white people, and brown people. Like, there's no such thing as a brown race. Even when people say black and brown, like brown, everybody was brown. Indians say brown. Hispanics say brown. Arabs say brown. You know what brown mean? I'm not black or white. You know what I'm saying? That's what you know what I'm saying. Like, so it's not a race. If every other race uses it for the same, that's the opposite of race, of a making a group for, you know what I'm saying?
I disagree. Yo,
Brown?
I'm gonna tell you why. And yellow, damn it. Right? I'm gonna tell you why, right? You might as well throw in the whole damn Crayola box. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why, yo. I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
Race implies competition.
I know. That's the different. I get. Yes.
Hold on. Race implies competition. Mm-hmm. I say, and the essence of it, even from your argument, your argument that it's a European construct. It's based on European Western capitalism, right? Yes. So the foundation of it is competition, and as far as that's concerned, right? Any group that has locked in amongst themselves. Any group that has locked in amongst themselves, right, and has considered another group that they see distinct from themselves as their social, political, and economic op, right? You know what I'm saying? Is a different race, right? So,
No.
wait a minute. You're not, how you say, Asians are not black. Asians are not black.
Some of them are.
Okay, you're saying some of them are, right? So what you Asians are not white. Asians are not white. Asians are not white.
I call them white.
See that?
I just start. I'm gonna keep it real. I just started. I'm like, they're lower totem pole under the whiteness because they'll get with a white person and get into that world. And is Keanu Reeves white or is he what is he? He's Japanese and whatever.
Supposed to be mixed.
Yes, but he walks around as a white man. Is Naomi Osaka white or black? She's Japanese and Haitian, black Haitian, and she's a black woman. So it still goes down to
why?
Because it's black and white.
Is Jackie Chan black or white?
He's white. He's white Chinese.
You don't make no damn sense. You know what I'm saying? Jackie Chan black or white. You know what I'm saying? Jackie black or white. What are you talking about? Like yo. You know what I'm saying? Like these are, I say, there's definitely more than one race. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's
more than one ethnic group.
No. There's more than one race. Because even within China, within India, there's several ethnic groups. Shit, within Nigeria, there's several ethnic groups.
100%. Yes, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So what are we talking about?
The same thing. Look, you're all right, for the record, y'all. Banu groups, race and ethnicity are the same thing.
No, I understand what he's saying. What he's saying is kind of like this. So, like, if you try to say, what do we define as white and black? If we define black as, okay, you originated from Africa. If we define
that's not it, because we could go YouTube.
So let's define it then, I guess, as best as we can.
Original Australians, are they black or white? Or yellow, or what do you call those Indians in Australia?
Time out. So here's my question to you. Why are you trying to use a European construct to define something that predates them?
Yeah.
I'm gonna break it down right now for you. I'm only using it in a construct that we're being subjected in. Yes, wider than on our own personal thing. Yes, am I bigger than being black? 100%. But I'm talking about as far as being in America, as far as the issue we're talking about, I'm only using it for that. You see what I'm saying?
I think here's the point that Bano's saying is that, so if you're using the European construct to define the way they subjected to us in the United States, but then if other groups
under that.
But if other groups are not viewing it like that, then we can't say that there is just a European construct for white and black, because the other groups might say, no, I'm not. So whatever we define
over there, then
but even here, the ones who are here might say, I don't subject to that European structure.
If they still run it.
Absolutely not. Yo, all you gotta do is go in the damn convenience market or the hair shop or whatever, and you'll find out very quick. You know what I'm saying? That you're inside of the field.
When you go on a birth certificate or when they get their papers to be here legally, see what it says. Because guess what? That brown, that quote unquote brown Arab from Yemen, when he comes to America, was white. It's gonna say white on the thing. You see what I'm saying?
What does it say?
Over there, he may not be white, whatever. He could be whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. But once they become over here, like a lot of Arabs do, those Arabs are considered white in America.
This is so you're talking like the president of the United States, the POTUS, right?
I'm only talking about
the POTUS when he's giving his UN speech, and when he says the world leader and like the free world and this and the third, right? And he really talking about the United States of America, but he uses the world, right? This is what you mean when you say there's only two races in the world. You really mean America?
I'm only talking about them. Yes, I'm only talking about America and Europe. As far as
that's crazy as shit.
I'm only talking about because we live in America. We're subjected to their rules right now.
I mean,
Yes,
I
a
hear what-
person in Ethiopia, who says it the most? Is it Samaya? I think Samaya. They could be like, yes, I'm not black. Okay, it's Samaya. Cool. I'm not gonna sit there and say you must be whatever. But when that Samaya girl come over here and play that game, she gonna quickly find out. Oh shit, yeah, I am black.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's all I'm talking about. That's all I mean.
So
I'm not gonna go to where they at and make them say, whatever.
No, I agree with you. The whites in the U.S. are going to tell them this is what they are, but they may not act that way. So it sounds like though that the issue of topic that we're talking about is why are they not acting black when if they don't conform to those constructs, you're talking about why they're not acting the way that the Europeans tell them they're supposed to in the United States. I think that's where the conflict comes into play. So if that person from wherever comes here and says, I'm not gonna let you define me, even though I'm here. I'm not gonna act
like Dominican, whatever. I'm not black. Or but I'm saying they are because of the way they're getting treated, way the system.
Are they though? Are they? Here's the thing. When a lot of them come,
not everyone.
The European tells them, white people tell them, stay away from them people there. Y'all not the same.
Yeah.
You have culture, you have this, that, and third. They something else.
Yeah.
Yes, but it depends who they are. Like we have friends, Frank and Pat. Dark in this chat. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on. There are white Dominicans, there are black Dominicans, and there are in between or whatever. Like,
but what Bano's saying, and if I can understand him correctly, is what he's saying is like where you said you're basing it on how you're being treated. He's saying that the white man is saying, hey, guess what? I'm going to treat you differently if the black man's in the room. So if the Hispanic guy comes in the room and the black guy comes in the room, I'm going to treat you differently. As long as there's a black man
only
in the room,
if we can make a distinction. Only if they can make a distinction.
Well, here's the thing about it.
Let's say with you. Are they, like I always make fun of you sometimes. I'll be like, which one do they have you listed as? When they put like a they stats up. Oh, we have the school board has 8% blacks, 20% Latinos. I'm like, I wonder which one they got you. Which one did they count you in? Like, who went to you and asked you? Like
that's the very point of it. See?
And that's what I'm talking about.
But that's the very point of it is that it all depends on who's in the room at the time. It switches depending on who's in the room at the time. So if there's just like a white guy and a Dominican guy in a room, then it's like, the Dominican is at the bottom of the barrel. But then the moment the black guy walks into the room, hey, guess what, Dominican? You could now be a little bit part of me.
But what if the Dominican is more black than black guy?
It doesn't matter because you want to know what it is.
They may not identify that person as being Hispanic.
No, but I'm going to tell you something. It's not about that. It's about the separation.
How would they know though? How would they know though? How would I get what you're saying. A large point you could probably assume and say that person's whatever. But there's another point where you be like, oh, I didn't know you was that. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they ask. That's the reason why they ask.
Person type of scenario, right? But if you're talking about
I'm in New York. Like people don't know. Look, Run DMC. Is that a black group or Latino group?
New York got Chinatown, don't they?
Huh?
Don't New York got Chinatown?
Yeah.
Every city got Chinatown.
Korean town. Is there a place in New York where it's like all this and all that? Right? Yeah. These folk, they over here, right? Every folk that you can probably think of got their own spot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, where is that for us? And if you understand that, then you can understand the essential point and how there is a difference, and it is and the way they move. And when we talk about economics, which is we talk about race, which is fundamentally we talk economics, right? We talking capitalism.
Yeah.
Right? There is a way that these groups move that is distinct, that they distinguish themselves for social and economic.
But why you don't apply that to there's a Jamaican section in New York with all Jamaicans. There's a Haitian section in with all Haitians. You don't say the same thing. You don't call them not black.
Well, no. How you say? They Jamaican, they're Haitian, right? I would call them black, but would they call themselves black? They wouldn't necessarily call themselves black like us. When they say they're black, they don't mean us.
No,
When they say they're black, they don't mean us.
That's what I'm saying. There's two different things. Yes, you have culture and ethnicity, and you got race. So yes, different culture. Yes, 100%, 100%.
I think that
they still believe they're from Ethiopia. Okay, you know what I'm saying? They still believe.
I say that's racist. But yo, I think some of them have. Let's take Jews for instance, right? Let's take Jews.
I don't want to go there. We don't get my show canceled. No, I'm joking.
Why not? Let's go. Yo, let's take Jews. It's like
what is it? It is cut off.
I say you talk to one, they can't tell you whether being a Jew is a religious thing or being a Jew is an ethnic ethnicity thing, or is this a race thing? Like if the answer might depend on who you're talking to, right? And I think that some of these groups that we're talking about, they might have like some of the same cloudiness, right? Hell, we can't even come to complete terms on what race and ethnic. You think that I think that race and ethnicity is the same thing? And absolutely, I don't think they're the same thing at all.
Sometimes the way you use it, it's like you said, because race to me is just it's general description. It's a cheap ass. It's a very broad general thing. It's not. It's a very general. As far as America, white people go, because the Constitution. Negro, like it just mean like you go over there. We're gonna. Oh, you Irish? Okay, now you're white. Yo, you're European Jew.
But a Nubian man from Egypt can come here and he'll be classified as white.
That I seen videos where that happened. Where
Mustafa Hifni.
I seen the video of that before in the 80s, whatever. But once they see him, he's not gonna be considered white. You know what I'm saying?
No, I say he had to sue, and he has sued government
like that.
Right, to be classified as black because he personally he identifies with the black people here, but
no, because he looks black, like he's black.
All his documentation is white. What's up with that?
Because they see Egypt, well, not see because it's an Arab country. And I told you, Arabs when they come to America or because of America, they say white, so they don't know that black people live in these countries too, whatever. So they just doing. So
what they say? They saw him when he got here, and he said, "Yo, my name is XYZ. I'm from XYZ." Blah, 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 blah. And they put white instead of looking his black ass in the face. They put white on the paper. So this is what I'm saying. It can't just be based on looks.
Maybe some political thing behind that, with the country thing stuff.
I think essentially what it comes down to, and when Bano was saying this, and I agree with it, is that it's the construct of what takes place in the U.S. is like the Matrix. And then if you know the Matrix is to benefit whoever's on top, and they have the structure, trying to make sense of that Matrix in the Matrix almost doesn't make sense because the Matrix itself
it's a construct. Construct means made up. It means made up.
And not only that, people are going to use it to the benefit that benefits them. So when we try to say like, why are people not functioning this way or that way? But a lot of it all has to do because of the construct itself is geared towards one group. So if blacks were the ones who were in power, we're the ones everyone wants to be with. You look at the word black and say like, instead of calling it devil cake for like chocolate food, you call it angel cake and it's going dark. They're like, yo, that's dark angel cake, and they call like white cake devil cake. If everything was reversed like that, I guarantee you, people would be having a different thing. They'd be like, if they can identify as black, they'd be if someone's gonna tell them they look kind of white, they'd be like, no, I don't want to be associated with that.
You want to pick
change.
Martha Stewart be into Mama?
Exactly. So it's like that's all it is that dynamic.
Would suck.
So this same conversation we're having will be flipped upside down if Black was the group that's on power, and then that's all it is. That's all it really comes down.
It's to preserve whiteness.
It's all it is. Yeah, that's
They're
all.
allowing more white people to come in because they need more white people to come in. They, you know what I'm saying? They say, "Oh, we losing numbers. Oh, because these lighter or more whiter. Let's make them white." At one point, those Irish wasn't considered white. Those Europeans weren't considered white or white enough or whatever. That's why Hitler did. So it's just preserving whiteness at the end of the day. And
that same concept trickles down to the other backgrounds. Like, you aren't white, but how much closer are you to it than the other group? Because now I'll make you fight the other group.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with that than that. Yeah. I'd rather deal with them than
And that's all that is. So at the end of the day, I kind of goes right back to the whole thing we said in the very beginning about, you know, certain backgrounds are just kind of like trying to take what benefits from them and then what doesn't. So they'll roll with it, and it just because what works for them and what doesn't. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. You know, so we can't even like really. I'm not gonna say we can't hate on them, but we can't. There's nothing we can really do or say about it because it's like they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna claim what they want to claim just because what works for them. You know, all we could do, like you always say, is like we gotta just, you know, operate around it. Now we know it works like that, and that's the reason why I said before that a lot of us sometimes who have Puerto Rican in us, even though it's still supposed to be Black or whatever the case is, will say, I'll rather keep it separate because if you aren't claiming me, then I'm not claiming you. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why it goes that way at the end of the day. It's like,
if you make a distinction, make it on both sides. I'm gonna share one more. Look, here's a picture of that boy right here. Your dad looks nothing like this. Let's put it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He look nothing like
that. I mean, yo, Dawud, you only like a smidgen. You always like a smidgen darker than cuz, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, Beto, don't stop. Beto.
You know what I'm saying? The audacity of you, man.
Yo.
That's the one thing he hates. He's like, don't you put me in that category.
That man is like literally like 3 centimeters from being your kith and kin, son. I don't know why you acting.
No.
Oh man. Too much, yo. Too much. Yeah.
Where's his haircut?
But I'm gonna break out.
All right.
You guys, it's good chat.
Appreciate it.
You know, we'll catch up. Yep. All right, guys. Later.
Peace. One. Bet. Accept. Okay. Look at this dude right here. All right. Yeah. Anyway, all right, bet. So let me play this last little clip. Hold on one second. Invite, share screen. Remove. There you go. What you call it? There you go, baby.
Yo. Okay, yeah. I don't know what happened. I'm
gonna play one more video. We have a little comment, then we could boogie after that real quick. The Universal Guru checked out. He was at work. Yeah, we cooking tonight. We on it for a minute. I ain't think we're gonna be on that long.
Yo, it's a complicated it's a complicated subject, man. Yo, it's not simple at all.
No. It's very complex. It's very complex. And my thing is like you made a good point. Like if there's a Black version and white version, why? Like you made a great point with that. And so yes, I am kind of. I guess I was going to co-opt it as a Black thing and like say F them, but it was more about like do it on both sides. And so we always get the Afro version of the thing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being it's only the white ones. Like the white ones are considered the standard. Like white. I don't want. They make white a standard. And when you see it, you only see the white Hispanics making an argument. You don't see Black Latinos like talking the shit. They're like, know what I'm saying? Like even matter of fact, I'm gonna let Crazy Legs say. He makes a point right here.
Mm.
Go point right here where he says, "Oh damn, I just removed it. Hold on. Add to the stream. All right, let's see what Crazy Legs say."
My problem when we get pulled by the cops, we're getting pulled together in the Bronx. So it doesn't matter whether you're black, Puerto Rican, or whatever. So for you, your background is what?
I'm black and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Yeah.
So never had no need to say that back then.
Right. No, I used to call
So
myself
when
a
you
nigga
talk
Rican,
about
but
Disco King Mario, black and Puerto Rican.
Right.
Tex Hollywood, Puerto Rican, but they look like you.
Boom.
And that's the thing that a lot of people who grow up in areas that are segregated don't understand. In New York, we're stacked up on each other. We lock arms with each other. You know, you protesting, I'm protesting with you.
Right.
And a lot of places aren't unified.
It's one
like
community.
I heard you say something real important. You said if you was to take away, I think you said Puerto Ricans. So if you take away Puerto Ricans in hip hop,
if you take away Joe Conzo's.
All right, cool. So this is the thing. So look, my cousin's dad, he similar, he, like not exactly like a little shade, a little darker, but kind of same structure. You know what I'm saying? That kind of vibe with that. That's what you got going on. But my main, all right, so Crazy Leg said he mentioned like a few people from the original hip hop, whatever. And so when people make I'm not gonna say Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed is doing something different. I think he's trying to say they wasn't there at all. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying there were white people there. There were different people there, but I still consider hip hop a black movement because of culturally, and culture means the masses. The masses was a black thing. You know what I'm saying?
By there, you mean at the origin of hip hop?
Yeah. So they're trying to like so. Even so, yeah. So we're not saying that nobody else was in there neither, because there were white folks there too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to watch an interview on the Quest Love joint with Blondie. You know what I'm saying? She got one of the 5 Freddy doing the video, and like there were people there. The whole punk rock scene was adjacent to it too, whatever the case is. Now, so he mentioned a few of the Puerto Ricans that was there at the Roots, whatever. And then the next line he says, "But Nori, they looked like you. They were black." You see what I'm saying? Like, so like they still like.
Why? I say why? See, here's the thing. Again, like
why did he make that? See what I'm saying? Why did he make? See,
Nori, because it's a distinction. It is a distinction.
So what? So black. Nori is black, right? My cousin's black. We're not saying they're not Puerto Rican.
Your cousin is half African American and half Puerto Rican. His words, right? His words.
Yes. Same thing with Nori.
Okay, so
okay, all right. So
Nori say I'm half black, half Puerto Rican.
Nori's very ignorant.
And Nori's words, I used to say I'm nigga Rican. This is what Nori said.
100%. But look, Nori is black. He has an African. I don't know what his mom is, but his dad is whatever, and his mom is maybe Caribbean black or African or American black, something like whatever. And so, but there are people who are 100% Puerto Rican and still black. That like that's not an uncommon thing. You know what I'm saying? Musically, Celia Cruz, Roberto Clemente, he played basketball.
Sure.
Yeah, right. So that's not so. Maybe let's take those examples out, as far as my cousin and Norway. But the dudes he mentioned, I don't know who those people are. I gotta research them. That Crazy Legs just mentioned, but he said they look like Nori, aka they're black. So if we're still saying like, how do you strip the Puerto Rican and say come over here? But leave them how they look over there. Like, what do we do? Like, see, like it's always like, what is that? Like, wow. When we say black people,
some people argue that it's an issue of nationality, right? I don't think it's simply that, right? But it could be a particular part of it. That national identification right? It creates a bond or an affinity, like a group identity that continues as the people move around, right? Especially if they move around together, right? You know, where they move, they tend to concentrate, right? They're not dispersed, right? They tend to move around each other, right? They even have, like, as far as the way that they do religion, they do religion together, right? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Jamaican
but not
churches and Haitian churches and Puerto Rican and Dominican churches. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Jamaican
a
churches.
thing.
Yes,
It's a thing.
but
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
but not saying I'm not black because other ethnic groups do it too. Jamaicans do it, Haitians do it, whatever.
Yeah, they're black, but they're not black.
But look, crazy. Like, he was walking on both sides of the fence. Cause like he'll say at one point, like he literally say they're black. Like he literally, what he just said was this: "Yo, so and so are black, but the Puerto Rican, like you saying this, like what are you saying? But you're doing both."
Yo, this is no different than what how you say them folk what do you call them? Adults and FBA.
No, come on, that's no, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's no different. Like what they, you know what I'm saying? Like essentially, it's
under. That's yes, but that's put that that's under though. Like, race is like the main cut. I look at race is like the main slice, and then your religion, your ethnic group, all that falls underneath. You call yourself whatever you want and be what you want. That's cool. But as far as the way you look, people can prejudge you on that. People can look at you from a distance and not know your nationality, your culture, your religion, your whatever, but still be like, he's white or he's black. They could like they don't need to know you to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I feel like that could be, how you say, it's complex to where it should be, it's an issue, right? Like there's a lot of history that these people have that they're connecting to, and how you say, the only thing that to me that can transcend it is Pan-African, right? Pan-Africanism, right? Pan-African nationalism in particular, because nationalism at the end of the day is what all this is based on. Where I say for people of African people of African descent, we're having an argument and making distinction based on pit stops that the slave master made, you know what I'm saying, over here, right? And but how you say, it's an issue.
Hey, we're having arguments over that, but a group, the lighter version of the group, not the darker one, the lighter version of the group is making an issue over the, I guess, colorism. That's, to me, I'm seeing
it is colorism.
I'm seeing an underhanded colorism without them saying it. And that's my issue. You know what I'm saying?
It is some of that.
You're being slick by saying, you hit somebody?
No. That's the little what do you call it? The little lights. What do you call it? The little reflectors, right, on the road. Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
No, I ain't nobody. Oh, yo, that hey, we got a little bit of that. How you say, like, it's a thing when somebody acting light skinned. Oh, he acting light skinned.
We did, yeah.
We got, you know what I'm saying?
Without them saying it, because like I said, it's only with the lighter ones, and they only got an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I was asking about like Run DMC. Are they a black group or Latino group? 1/3 of them.
Run DMC?
Yeah. DMC is Dominican.
Huh.
See what I'm saying? He's
See,
black.
if you didn't say nothing, I would never known that.
My point. Race doesn't. You don't need to like. See what I'm saying? You can't.
So they're a black Dominican group. Yo, what would they say? What would they say?
Need him over here. It's gonna be a trade. It's gonna be a trade.
Yo, what would they say? You know what I'm saying? Again, here's my whole thing, right? I agree.
Carlton Banks is black, right?
Huh?
Alfonso Rivera. Carlton Banks.
I don't know. Is he?
He's Dominican. He's black though.
Most Dominicans say they're not black.
Because some of them aren't, and some of them who are still say they're not.
Yeah.
Some of them,
you're trying to solve a almost like an unsolvable issue, right? Because
not one thing. That's the thing. The whole ethnicity is not one thing. I know a lot of times these places we journalize them, but like you said when you first came in here, there are the majority. Yes, we could be like, okay, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be whatever. But in certain places, it's not like I said. America, you can't say that in America, right? Nobody says, "Oh, I know what color you are" by saying American. No, you don't, because it's kind of a very, whatever. But it just like Crazy Legs did I give him some credit. He had a lot. That's a good interview you should watch because he did have some dope stories about some early stuff going on. But him being, I guess, he did say he has African in him. He did admit to that, whatever cases, but he still shows that he's not enough to be that, right? And I have like my friend Jay,
what?
Not enough to be identified as a black person. I guess the way people look at him, whatever, or he looks at himself. And,
well, I think when they say black, to say black American, man, like I say, when people say black, they mean
yes. Yes, that's true. They do that, and they mean the racial thing too. But like I said, it's a double thing. Some people it's two separate things. But yes, people do that. But I do feel like he was giving it up for the black stuff, whatever. But he was still pulling back on some because he is one like French Marky D from Fat Boys was a white Puerto Rican. He was there. He was early. You know what I'm saying? Mexican nigga in the Fat Boys. He was Puerto Rican. It was like, and me growing up, I always feel like when we said black, yes, there was some white. Like my whole thing is like when you said culture means the masses. White Latinos there.
Wait, culture means what now?
You said we talk about culture means the masses of the people.
No,
you mentioned that before. You said culture. We was talking about what were we talking about when you said you said the majority or the masses. You said we talking about culture with the masses. You say it can be one person having a
universal. I said universal. I said okay. Using Dominicans as an example, right?
Let's go.
Right. Culture. They say you know based on where they're at, how they interact with the environment, how they have to harvest their food, and the language that's spoken and things of that nature. There is going to be let's say something that we can say is a universal culture. This is what it means to be Dominican universally, right? But then there are also particular specific things.
Come on, hip hop culture. We was arguing over something used like Bada or Karis One. Karis One said something about some definition. He was like, and I was like, Coach, like the masses of the group doesn't identify.
What does it mean to be an MC?
Something like that, whatever. But I think maybe we use that. But basically, it was like
this is a while ago.
Yeah, a cultural movement. Like it's a large amount of people has to be following the same kind of thing, right? So to me, the culture of hip hop, I'm stamping is a black thing. That doesn't mean other people who are non-black wasn't there or a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Is it a black thing? Is it a black thing? I say I think the Puerto Ricans might take an issue with you saying so.
And a lot of Puerto Ricans are black too. Not every single one of them. Not every single Jamaican was black. Not every single. Regardless of the thing.
Of course, I say that is black, right?
King hold on, we got another what's to do? Shout out to Love in the chat. He said this in Crazy Legs mentioned Disco King Mario. Shout and text DJ Hollywood, Puerto Rican. 100%. And they probably look like me and my brother Bano. I'm gonna go Google them right now. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, your love, where you from? Let me ask him. Where you from? And do you from New York? Ask him, do you identify as black even if you're Latino? Love, if you're not sure what we was talking about, I have my cousin on the chat, and he's from New York as well. He's Puerto Rican, he's black. He identifies as black, his race. His dad is Puerto Rican. His mom is, I would say, African American. I'm not sure, as far as we know, a few generations. So we asking, do you identify if you're Puerto Rican or Hispanic, do you identify as being black or white? That's kind of what it comes down. At least like in this area, because we have a lot it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean either or kind of thing. But so my thing, as a massive group, majority was black. Not to say that those dudes weren't there, but to say that because if you're gonna make a distinction, then you know what? Let's make it fair. Okay, let's say it was blacks, Black Americans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans. Hey, let's go down. Why do we stop at Puerto Rican?
So let me, Dawud, let me ask you something. All of those groups that you just mentioned.
Who wasn't African? Not African American?
Question for you.
Curtis one is not African. I think he's Jamaican. Matter of fact, to be honest, even to this day, the top 20 rappers are probably some type of Caribbean. Jay-Z is Trinidad, whatever his mom was. He's like, what do you say? What's that? Brandon, you a Jay-Z fanatic. You know his lines. What did he say his mom and dad was mixed with?
Something like that. It's something like that.
Trinity or something. We know Biggie's Jamaican. We know Busta Rhymes Jamaican. Come on, these are not African Americans.
Question.
He's gonna be mad at me.
Question for you.
Go ahead. What you say?
Question for you. On all of these places that you're mentioning, America?
Huh?
On all of those places that you're mentioning, America?
Jamaica's not America.
Jamaica isn't America?
Jamaica is not American. No, it's not U.S. It's not a U.S. territory. No.
No.
What?
America means U.S. territory.
United States of America is not Jamaica. They're separate. Man, Jamaica is not in America.
When you say America versus when I say America, we don't mean the same thing.
Ooh, that's for people who don't know that. We debate a lot, and I started to realize we mean different. This is a common thing. He it's like a different level. So I'm very curious to see where he about to go with this, because I'm thinking of a very general, textbook definition.
I mean, Mexico and Brazil aren't the United States.
No.
But it's still America.
Yes, not the United States though. I'm talking about the United States of America.
Okay, so
okay, go ahead.
here's the thing, right? When you mention all these groups, right? No one says Mexican American. They say Mexican.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
No one says Canadian American. They say Canadian. Right? It's an issue, right? We're talking about people that come from a place different from here that they can actually point to and they gravitate around it, right? It's something that they share, whether it's a language or a particular type of cuisine, or it's something that they're using to maintain a cultural distinction, right? When we say African American, right? It's different. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
Yes, yeah, but I'm saying black. I don't like African American, even though African American is a you know who's African American? Elon Musk. Elon Musk is African American. How about that?
I mean, does he claim to be African American?
He makes that joke.
Oh, does he?
He makes the joke. I don't know if he really means it, but yo, can you see the chat, Benu?
Huh?
Can you see the chat? I mean, can you see the the comments?
Is it on YouTube?
I think it's on both.
Oh, okay.
My brother Love from New York. I asked him, I said, how do you identify? He said Latino, and he said I identify as Boricua. That's Puerto Rico, and with African and Taino roots. Oh, he's here! Hold on, man. Hold on. I'm gonna bring him in right now. Let's see. Let's. I'm gonna give you. This is like he 100%. Let's go here. He a good example. Let's go. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. Brother Love.
I'm not a brother.
Sister.
But...
I'm sorry, my sister. I'm sorry. That was wrong with me. That was wrong.
No, that's not your fault. Everybody always thinks I'm a male first. It's normal.
Why is that? Why is that?
I just thought
because of the name. I'm not sure. Maybe because Diddy got the name now.
Diddy? Yeah. So give us a little background. Where you from? Like your age range. How hip hop are you? And
I'm very hip hop. Okay. I'm 53 and I've been going up park jams with my older brothers since 1977.
Ooh.
I spent like a lot of years in Roxy's, and at the time DJ African Bambaataa and DJ Jazzy J were there. I witnessed Crazy Legs and the Rocksteady crew, and a lot of females, like a lot of B-girls that people really don't speak about. Then there was the Latin Quarters, the Fun House, the Palladium. Then for the 90s, I did the Tunnel with DJ Funkmaster Flex on Sunday nights. I seen Sally the Crazy Beatings from the bouncers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like around the year 2000, I was doing like BB Kings and stuff. But the best years, I would say, I enjoy Roxy's a lot because the Fat Boys was my favorite group, and they were just so friendly. Like they were just such cool guys, it was just so much fun.
Nice.
And I do love the 80s and Roxy's, but I was a teen, still underage. So the 90s, I'm in my 20s, mid-20s, so I'm like, and I'm an adult now, and it was like easy. And and now that I realized it was really a movie in the tunnel and stuff. And then what I did was go back, and my older brothers, like they're 68 and 70, they were around, and they schooled me to a lot of things. And before, and they told me that text DJ Hollywood was DJing in the park with Disco King Mario
Yes.
early, and that Tex DJ Hollywood's real name is David Santiago, and he was
Okay.
also a president of he was a black spade, and he was the president of the young spades, and also he was at a time Disco King Mario, Spanky, and Tex DJ Hollywood, they were down with the Chuck City crew and stuff.
Yes.
And they also was doing stuff in 123. And then, when I just go back to being a kid and remembering things like I could never forget the blackout in 1977. Like
Oh wow.
that day,
That's what.
that day was so hot. It was a real hot, uncomfortable day. And then I just remember like the following weeks when we would go to park jams, because the park jams now spread. You will see them in the Lower East Side,
Yeah.
like Amsterdam by Rocksteady Park, Gun
Mm-hmm.
Hill Road, Brooklyn. Like it just spread. They were everywhere. And one thing I could really remember is like everybody had a DJ equipment right after the blackout. So
That blackout came. Everybody got the equipment.
yeah. And now that I put like the puzzle together, I said a lot of people went and robbed their equipment,
Yes. Yes.
and stuff. But,
That.
I
Yep.
just got into it more because, I really grew up into hip hop and I understand it and I follow it well. And I know a lot of people just focus on the music and the
Yeah.
emceeing. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his name so well, but
Basquiat.
Basquiat. Yeah,
I
he
know his
made it.
dad,
He
Jean
he
Michel
made it
Basquiat.
like he really made it all the way up. He's in the most expensive galleries and
Yes.
museums. And the best thing is the message because he was showing police brutality. He was showing things, and I'm a little upset that 50 Cent like trying to get at him
Trying to
like
make him gay and all that.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
50 Cent is destroying the message without noticing because 50 Cent is like, oh, Jay-Z is trying to act like a gay painter. But
I
what
seen that.
ga-
I seen
but
that.
what Jay-Z is following is the message of the
Yeah.
police brutality, the how our darker melanated brothers get treated. So I started doing YouTube videos. They're not
Okay.
great, but I've been bringing
What's your
straight
channel?
facts. It's on the
Shout
love,
out.
like you'll say, Boricua, New York City. But when we
Boricua, New
get
York
off
City.
here, yeah,
Okay.
when we
Yes.
get off, I will leave a comment, a message, and then you could click onto it. But I'm
Bet.
bringing straight facts, so this really made me dig in because what happens is a lot of people like when they be like, oh, we didn't see no Puerto Ricans in the parties or there. um what Puerto Ricans you talking about? Because Puerto Ricans don't have a look, but the system is making it look like everyone look like Fat Joe and J Lo. But we got Lala
Can you
Anthony,
tell
we
my
got
brother?
Al.
Can you tell my
Yeah,
brother? I'm trying to explain to him
yeah,
because he's
like
from New
right
Orleans. He's
now,
from the
my
South.
my my mom and dad had a few kids together, and we came out like in three different tones. And we
Yep.
all have
Me
the
too. My
same
family
mother and
too.
father. So I'm lighter skinned, but I have Afro curly hair. Like my hair's curly, and if I pick it out, it'll turn into Afro.
Mm-hmm.
My brothers
Mm-hmm.
are darker skinned and they have
Yes.
straight hair, like a Taino. So it's just weird how we came out. So
Yeah.
me growing up, I never like I always had great relationship with my African American. Like I have a good relationship with everyone. And when I grew up, like I see my siblings in different skin tones, I thought everybody was like that. And then I started thinking,
Yeah.
like, you know how a dog has puppies and the puppies
Yeah.
come out different
Yep.
color? That's how I
Yes.
thought people were. But then now it's crazy. And even like the N word, I said, I wish we never used the N word, but it's been
Mm.
used in lyrics. I
Yeah.
was watching something of Fat Joe from 1992 and he been saying it. And I
Yeah.
said, I made a little video. I said, there's two N words. Like we really have two N words, two different spellings and two different meanings. But people want to just pick and choose. Like I
Mm.
said, if I was to be in the streets with my brother, he's allowed to say it because of the skin color. But then they'll look at me funny. But me and my brother
Oh.
have the same parents,
Hey,
and
parents.
and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
weird. But
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's just crazy. But I've been doing my research because I feel like Tariq Nasheed, I feel like he's a strong man, and I understand like the lineage of the people that deserve the reparations. I respect that. Like if you just
Mm-hmm.
came from Jamaica last year. You don't deserve reparations from the
Yeah.
lineage. Like I respect
From
what
the-
he
it's
does
in-
on that point, but he's also a drama king. And
100
FBA,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
gonna tell you about
yeah.
FBA. I'm old enough to know that the first time I seen those initials, they meant full blown AIDS. So when I kept on seeing that and seeing
Oh,
that, I said, why y'all putting those initials? But I didn't understand. Then somebody said, oh, because it's foundational Black American. I said, oh well, like we're discussing hip hop, and we lost Easy E to full blown AIDS. It like it took me back to that space, and then
mm,
I'm a person. I keep it real. I like I said, I love everyone. I don't care. Like there was this
okay.
Puerto Rican brother that I checked on a channel of Black people, and he was like, "Oh, how you gonna do that? You're Puerto Rican." I said, "I don't stand with people because of they're my race. I stand with who's right." I know about everything that goes on in this world. There's good and bad in every race. A Puerto Rican killed Macho Camacho, and another Black man helped kill Chairman Fred Hampton. I don't go by race. I go by character. I seen the best in every race. Right now, I could
Yeah.
have I could trust one of my African Americans more than I could trust a Puerto Rican, because that's just how it is. I'm gonna stand with you for. I'm a real one. I'm not gonna stand with you just because you're that. You're a certain race and stuff. So it was just funny, but
Love.
I
What?
just got it. Yeah.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say? I want to cut you off.
No, so like I got, like I could kind of explain my experience of hip hop from 1977. But before it, I started researching and learning things like I learned that the TBB breaking crew came out in 1975. I learned that in 1977 the people that created Rocksteady crew, one is named Jimmy Lee and one is named Jimmy D. One is a Boricua and one is an African American. And then I seen that in Central Park. Um, I'm not sure if it was Jimmy D or Jimmy Lee. Um, Crazy Like said, "Thank you so much for opening the door for me." And Crazy Like said, "This is the person that owns Rocksteady, and he's the one who started
Mm,
everything." And Jimmy was like, "Yeah, I did open it up, but I really feel I'm gonna give it to you because you took it all over the world. Right now,
check
you
it
had
out.
to do 7 surgeries because of all the stuff you've been doing, breaking
Whew.
because that is, if you really think about b-boying, that's no joke. Like spinning your
Yeah.
head and all that,
I
you
seen
gotta
a
have stretch.
dude dislocate his leg doing like a windmill. I think I got it on camera too, and it made me almost sick. like, like that thing. Like your body really go through stuff. But I wanted to ask you, did you see the Drink Champs interview with Crazy Legs?
Yeah, I seen that video.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
just
so
found it queer, like I said,
yeah,
I've been doing my research that I'm gonna tell you. I went all the way to the 1900s, and it's just crazy, like to 1917. But the like Crazy Lake said that now he don't feel like the party in 73 is the
the
facts.
date.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm ready to start. Like I don't like doing he said, she said. I try to always check fact my stuff before I
Mm-hmm.
spread it, because I don't like spreading misinformation. But out of my opinion, I feel like hip hop started in 1979. Like once
Whoa,
the
it's kind
the
of late.
Sugar Hill Gang and Curtis Blow
Oh,
came
oh,
out to
okay,
me.
okay.
And another thing, Tito Puente, he had
Tito
worked with the
Puente.
Sugar Hill Gang. He made music with them, and then Curtis Blow's first hottest hit, "These Are
Mm,
the Breaks."
yeah.
It says, "These are the breaks.
Break,
Break it
break it
up,
up,
break it
break it
up."
up.
That
Yep.
was Jimmy Delgado, a Boricua, hitting those timbales. Then
Woo.
Run DMC. I forgot which song exactly, but the one that they playing the guitar, like you could really feel the guitar.
Walk this way.
Yeah, I think it's a walk.
Yeah, walk this way. That's the one with
Yeah, it has to
they,
be the one that they play hard the guitar.
the rock.
Is
Yeah.
another Boricua named Eddie Martinez and stuff. So
Or
I've been
maybe King.
finding like so much. Like there's a producer named, they call him the Doc, but his name is Ivan Rodriguez, and he made
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of songs for KRS-One, MC Light, Queen Latifah. Like I've been finding beautiful history and stuff. And
Beautiful.
Yeah, so and then I went to, because in 1917 America forced Puerto Ricans to become Americans, to take them to
Yeah.
World War One. So now
Okay.
we got the Harlem Hellfighters that are mixed with Boricuas, but they're gonna be erased. They're just on the most likely African American. So that just proves that nobody really knows their lineage. I just found out, my mom told me, because my mom is pushing 90 and she's really,
Okay.
God bless her, like healthy. She's on point. Like my mom, you could tell she never did drugs, smoked cigarettes, she never even ate outside. Like that woman is so
The way
on
to do
point.
that.
So she's been giving me some history and stuff. And in the Harlem Hellfighters, James Reese, he went to Puerto Rico to get
Hmm.
19 musicians. And Rafael Hernandez, since 1906, he was playing already over 5 instruments. Like in Puerto
Okay.
Rico, they were so young playing already instruments and doing things. And James Reese went to pick him up in 1917. And when he came back from the Harlem Hellfighters in World War One, he opened a Latin jazz band named the Borinqueños. So, like Spanish Harlem had a lot of Cubans and Boricuas from early and stuff. So
So let me
that was
ask
a
you a
beautiful.
question, real quick. Um, we was talking about the whole Puerto Ricans, blacks, um, the birth of hip hop in the Bronx. You said you identify as Latino, identify as Boricua with African and Taino roots. Okay,
Yeah.
so do you feel offended when people say black but not specifically use Boricua,
No,
or
no. If they say black, I always feel like I fall
it
under that
includes
black.
you?
Yeah, that definitely includes me. But like lately, it's
Okay.
been a lot of fights with outsiders. So like, there's a lot of fights with the outsiders. So I just speak more on my African and Arawak roots, you know. But yeah,
Okay.
black definitely. You know, if you
Because
say,
black is
yo,
a
you black.
race, but Puerto Rican is an ethnic group. It's like what part where you're from. It's like blacks are from every. You got Jamaicans blacks, you got American black. Like, so you saying you're Puerto Rican is more like the island, the country. And there are can you speak like there are like blacker Puerto Ricans and whiter Puerto Ricans? Do you agree with that, or how do you feel that? Do you feel what's your thoughts on um do certain Puerto Ricans consider themselves white, or do certain ones consider themselves more black or black? What do you what have your experience growing up? What did you see?
Yeah, like I see, like growing up, I always been around more that consider themselves black. But then I had the ones in school that were real light skin and then blonde hair, and they would consider themselves white.
White,
But
right?
now that I'm 53 and I've been doing so much research, because I always felt that everybody in the island is mixed, but everybody in
Hmm.
the island is not all mixed. We do have a big population of Spaniard people that never mix. And then in Loíza, Puerto Rico, where the African
Tell
roots
them
are very
they
heavy.
straight African over there, right?
Yeah,
It's Africa. Like
but
Louisa is African.
yeah, but the name Loíza, that's the name of a Taino woman. So Loíza was first the island, you know, it was to the Tainos, but the Africans felt comfortable because of seeing them the same complexion, melanated people. So they landed there and stuff, and that's how they united. So I've been researching Roberto Clemente, his lineage,
Roberto
and
Clemente,
he looks like
another,
he's very
yeah.
mixed with the Taino African. I don't think his family come with any type of spander. But you know, you just have to know your lineage, because I
Hmm.
still have nieces that look straight Taino, and then I have one niece that looks more European. And if she
Hmm.
don't know, her uncles, her cousins, they look straight black. So just because a person looks light doesn't also mean you could just be, you know, like right now there's a lot of Boricuas that sadly are whitewashed from the rape, from the spander. And I see a lot of people complain like, oh, Puerto Ricans want to call themselves white, or no, not even that. They'll be like, oh, but you're white, like making, like criticizing them for being pale skin, and they don't know that you're kind of mocking them being raped. Like, you shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really look at Fat Joe's features, Fat Joe don't got European features. Those lips and that nose, he doesn't
Yeah,
have it. He just got
no.
the skin tone.
Skin
But the
color.
heart,
Yeah.
he has a heart of a black. He's a black
Yeah,
man.
yeah, he's black. He's black.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
one.
Culturally, he's black. Culturally, he's
Yeah,
black. Yeah, yeah.
Fat Joe is a real one, and let me tell you, he's real for everyone. That he's real. I'll give it to him.
What do you feel about J Lo? Do you think she's a white Puerto Rican or Taino?
No,
Like what? What do you
J
think
Lo
she's?
was really down, and I put some stuff up from her, like when she had her braids, and she was. But J Lo went through a lot. I'm gonna tell you, J Lo was pulled, like she was pulled from arm to arm, like one arm the white people were pulling her, and then the black women that don't understand and black people, because it's like hurt people, so we go through things. And when Ja Rule made that song and she said the nigga word, people got mad. And that's what I said when they asked her. She said, I don't know why people felt like that. I didn't say that, but I said, I wish these people knew how to answer. I would have said, I never said the N word, because she never said the word with the R. You have to check people and let them know. We're not saying nobody. Fat Joe is not saying the word with the R. He never did. But y'all just want to pick and choose on how to see it. Like today, like I tell you, I love everyone and I defend who's right. But I've been calling the new black with the 3Ks and Tyreek's crew, because the way they're coming at other black people. You cannot bring down a Jamaican, an African. You can't bring people down. You really can't. I just speak my mind. Like some people, they're not gonna feel me, because I'm just the real one. Like I said, I'm not standing with you because you're Boricua. I don't do that. I stand with right and wrong. And I know these are all names that were placed on us. So if anything, we're humans. We're
Let me ask
humans,
you
and
another
we all.
question about
Mhm.
Taino and Arawaks. Do you feel that they're Crazy Legs said the original Puerto Ricans were black? What do you feel? What do you think of that, as far as your research and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, were they dark skin or
They
were they
were
black?
very melanated, brown skin and straight hair. That island was all melanated people, and then the Spaniards whitewashed it, and then they brought the Africans on the island on 1509. Christopher Columbus got on the island 1493, doing his little damage. He even left a quote, trying to get the letter. Christopher Columbus said, "These people are the nicest people that I ever seen, and it's so sad they don't even know evil is right in front of them."
Yeah.
And that shows, because a lot, I noticed like Boricuas, they when it's to help and be good and happy people, that they really are like that and stuff. Like I noticed that, but this world just makes you evil. It's sad.
Last question before we chap out, but I appreciate you coming on the show.
I
Represent. What
appreciate you
part
having.
of New York you from? Or you grew up in?
Right now I'm in Harlem,
Okay.
right by the Apollo, not too far from the Apollo. I lived in the Bronx for like 21 years. I lived a little bit in Chelsea, New York City,
All
by
over New York.
Roxy.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Like I never did the Brooklyn yet or the
Uptown
Queens.
girl. Uptown girl.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Harlem is
I
different
lived in the
today.
Bronx. I lived in
Yeah,
Harlem. And I currently live in Mount Vernon. I grew up in Mount Vernon. I mean, I was born in Mount Vernon.
it's
Raised in
nice
New
over
York.
there.
But yeah, I did the Bronx and Harlem. Okay.
Yeah. So what I say, I always said this is me, doing my research, because I've been on it for like 7 months. I feel that hip hop came by the Black Panthers and the Young Lords. I always say black people, the main original people, are the creators. And I always say the Boricuas are the co-creators, because the way they got invaded on the island and they were going through stuff, but
Okay.
that's how I say. And I say, hip hop will always have a melanated face. It's a black thing, but I
So,
say it's a black Boricuas, black
so you
Cubans.
so you agree hip hop is a black culture, not to take away that other people didn't help or be contribute, but this is my question with because we was debating like black is a race, right? But then when you say black and Puerto Rican, it's almost like saying that when you say black and Puerto Rican, you're kind of saying you're implying that some Puerto Ricans aren't black as well.
She said
Cause
what she said, sir.
no, you saying right, but what is it, that Disco Wiz? If you look at his features, he doesn't have black features. You understand? Disco Wiz was one of you can hear me?
Yeah, hey.
Yeah. You know, disco if you look at Disco Wiz, and Charlie Chase, they are the Boricuas with like the straight hair. They are the Boricuas that the way we're stereotyped, they're gonna fall on the Latino. They have the Latino look, and they've been there since '75. And Charlie Chase also is the co-founder of the Cold Crush Brothers
Yeah.
and stuff. So you know, he did a couple of things, and he has a video. And he says, somebody said, "How do you feel about hip hop?" He said, "Oh, I feel proud of being part of this creation." So he gave himself credit, and he been there. And I've been doing the research. Like emceeing is the last element, but that's the main element people just focus on. But they don't
Yeah.
know that's the last element.
Yeah.
And the reason why it took light, sadly, because of how America's so racist, but they paid it attention when Rocksteady crew started taking it out around the world. That's when hip hop music got respect and attention and stuff.
Okay. So you don't feel offended when people say it's a black culture. You feel you're a part. You feel when people say it's a black culture, you feel a part of that. But you still it seems like you said you have African and Taino roots, but you didn't say you have European. Do you have any European in you? Where do you?
Yeah, I feel I mix with the three of them, but I have more. I feel I have more of the other one.
Okay. Black and Puerto
But you know
Rican.
what I'm saying? I feel the black and Boricuas help. I really do. Like it was together because of the research that I'm doing, and then knowing that Willie Colon lived inside the Bronxdale projects, and they sampled a lot of his music from 1967. Like you could see the connection, and then Tito Puente played in the first.
We're in the same
Like
environment. Yeah, we right. Yeah, 100%. What
and
about you?
knowing, to me, like right now, this is how I feel. When I see Bad Bunny winning, I don't see Bad Bunny winning like just a Latino thing. I see it as that's a creation of African Americans, the Caribbeans, and the Boricua and Cubanos, because the Boricuas and the Cubans very close with each other, And then I did research, and America stripped Americans from their instruments. In Puerto Rico, they never been stripped from their instruments. In Cuba, they never been stripped from their instruments. And African Bambaataa is sad that he's caught up in this mess because he's really a big part of hip hop. But he said that he always wears a chain with a conga, and he has the Puerto Rican flag. And he says the Puerto Ricans brought the congas to New York. Like, honestly, the Puerto Ricans still carry that African tradition. We do bomba and plena. So none of that ever stopped on the island. And sadly, like for maybe 1 or 2 centuries, they did that to the slaves. They stripped them from everything and stuff. And then in 1820, in Congo Square, they started letting them play the drums again, but just on Sunday, So I just feel
she's talking about my city. She's talking about my city, sir.
Huh?
She's talking about my city, Congo Square, New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh boy, he from New Orleans. Now the culture is infused. It's Caribbean. It's American. It's like we're in the same place.
I say like this. I feel the culture, the DNA of the culture is the African and the Arawak DNA. That's how I feel. And the Black Panthers and the Young Lords.
What about Jamaica? What do you feel about Jamaica?
That's what the Jamaicans is in there. I say because look, but Bad Bunny's the biggest right now.
Right now.
And Bad Bunny is not the biggest without that
of course not.
Without the Caribbean, like I feel it's a connection of all of us.
Bad Bunny also said he doesn't identify as being black. I don't think he's black as well because he doesn't look, but I would think it's black.
His skin is not black, but his hair. He doesn't.
I don't know. He got straight hair.
He got curly hair, and if he picked that hair, it would come out as an afro.
You think so?
Maybe you haven't seen like
I haven't seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, with the full hair and stuff.
So can you tell my brother Beno, like, as far as like in New York, where like all right, you said you identify as Boricua with African and Taino.
Right.
So does that make you? Would you say you're black or white?
She says she's
I
Puerto
would
Rican,
say
sir.
No, that's ethnicity. What would your race be?
Oh
Like,
no.
white, black, or where would you be black? Because Boricua is not a race. Would you identify? Do you say you're black?
yeah, I'm definitely not white. I don't got no white hair either.
White.
Yeah.
Yo, like,
But I say it's all made up stuff, you know? These are
It
all
is.
made up stuff.
It is.
Because
It
first
is.
of all, black is a color. Ain't no
It is.
human black.
100%.
And then
Yes.
right now K Flock is locked up, and K Flock is half Boricua, half Dominican. And when you look him up, they put him black.
Because he looks. Yeah. He looks.
No, he's not even dark skinned. They
No, he
just
looks
want
like
to
me.
pick and
Right.
choose who they put. And if you're gonna do statistics and say we have 30% blacks and 20% Hispanics or Latinos arrested, no, you're doing everything wrong and you're putting everything on the black people. Come on. I had defended a lot. Like when I be in the comments and a dark-skinned person does a crime in New York, people, oh, LeBron James people, always the black. I said, that could be a Cuban, a Dominican, or a Boricua. They said, nah, I know what a Boricua look. I said, yeah, so if that was Roberto Clemente,
So
you
you're
were
cool.
gonna know. I'd be catching people out there. Like, they're already stereotyping how a person look. No, you know. But that's what I tell people. I say black in New York City is Boricua, Cuban, Dominican, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Barbados, like all those people from Brooklyn, from the West Indian Parade.
Yeah.
All of that is black, you know.
All black.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're cool. Right?
oh, when white people were talking, that's what she mean. When all those groups are talking, they are what they say they are. So you know when sis said, when you asked her, right, what do you identify as, you gave her two options. If you never gave her those options, she might have said something. You might have said something
I would
different
never
if
say
you
white
didn't.
because I'm not. I don't look white, so I
But would you have said black, or would you have said Boricua?
That's apples and oranges.
No, if I have to pick between the black and white, of course.
Well, no.
But I
Without
always
those
say
options.
Boricua.
Without those options. I mean, like
would
if you don't,
would
if
pick
he
up
never said black or white, if he asked you how do you identify, what would you have said?
Boricua. But if somebody knows what a Boricua is, the lineage is a Taino. That's a melanated person. And I
Okay.
know I'm mixed because my mother's Taino.
Yeah.
My mother's lineage comes from that, and my father's lineage comes from the African side.
Okay.
So,
I say that's my point right there, Dawud. You see what I'm saying? It's a complicated. It's not as simple as you trying to make it.
no, I'm not. No. The tears, race is just black and white. Her ethnicity, yes, she's identifying. I ask me what I'm. That's like me. If I say if I can't say black or white, matter of fact, Beno, without saying black or white, what are you?
Sir?
You can't
Say
say
it again?
black or white. Give me how you identify. What are you?
I'm an African.
Okay. You cheated, but okay.
No, I didn't cheat. What you asked me without saying I'm black or white. What I'm an African.
You African?
Ask him where he was born at.
Where you were born at?
New Orleans.
Doesn't mean much as far as because you could be born.
New Orleans.
You know what I just found out?
I
You know I've been. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I've been researching, so I just found out, and then my mom spoke to me about it, and she had family member that in 1918 they took them to North Carolina. I think it's called Fort Bragg, to build something. So it's like they've been mixing people up everywhere.
Oh,
they've been Boricuas living there since 1918.
There we go. But anything you want to shout out, love? Like, we appreciate you stopping in, giving your input.
I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I'm gonna leave a little message. My videos are not, I gotta learn because it's new to me, but I'm bringing facts about certain things and stuff.
Okay.
But I appreciate you and have a blessed night. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Take
love.
care. Thank you.
Okay. Likewise.
Thank you.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.
Sis came through. Okay, love. Okay.
How you say that backfired on you though?
50-50. Cause look, look, because this is like it's basically what what we were saying before. People who choose yes, their ethnic group. I'm not talking about your ethnic group. That's like if I ask a Jamaican, I know you're Jamaican. Are you black or white? They're gonna say black. You know what I'm saying? So
how you say if here's the thing, right? You know, it's a very slick
race.
It's a very slick thing because you know you're
race and ethnicity is not the same, but then you're sitting here trying to make it the same thing. Race. When I ask your race, I'm asking your race, black or white. Oh, Bano dropped out for a second. We're gonna talk real quick before he. Shout out to Love. Thank you. Brother Bano. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're the building now, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, you know, you're giving them the question and the answer. You know what I mean?
So I would do that to make it based on a race because, like, I was trying to make it the ethnic. I get she's Puerto Rican. Yes, I know where you're from, Puerto Rican.
Let me ask you something. When you actually look up race, right? You know, is it as you present it, like, you know, as though okay, there's only two in existence, like there, you know what I'm saying, there's only black and white, you know what I mean? Like
when I looked up the word race, the definition of race, it gave me a general description to describe a group of people, right? Now, when I'm adding my definition of race is based on just like my research and we go through from American historical references as like the perception of race, right? As far as U.S. Constitution and all that type of stuff, right? Separating this group from this group, a wide group. Not nothing like I'm putting European Jews in the white box. Maybe 1920 they wasn't. I don't know, right? Irish, Italian, etc. Maybe at one point they were still white. Today, as far as in America, based on like the social structure that we're under a white thing, this pressure thing. So I'm just talking about a very general thing. I'm not talking about. We could talk ethnic group. Oh, but
how does agency fit into this?
As far as I'm just talking about race. Because like
how does agency fit into it?
From
like personal, like no. Like how does agency? Like for instance, you know, when the sister, right? You know, the lady that was just on here. Just you know, she constantly made a distinction, right? And constantly, you know, identified as Boricua. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm not against.
No, wait. You're running into the same issue. I said you took an issue with it though, because you're like, okay, you're telling her that that's not your race. You're telling her that's not your race, right? And here's the issue though.
Are you?
They might not necessarily feel that way. I'm saying they may not necessarily feel that way.
Let me ask you: is Puerto Rican a race?
Is Puerto Rican a race?
Yes.
Puerto Rican is a nationality.
Yes. Is it a race?
It's a nationality, right? So but hold on, wait. But depending on where they're at, though, put them in a particular context, they might look at it as a race. In a racialized system, Puerto Rican might be looked at as a race.
Puerto Rican is a place.
Yeah, but I say again, you put them in a particular context. you enter them, you inject them into a racialized system, then in maintaining their their distinct identity as a subgroup within that system, it can be viewed, they might view themselves as a race distinct from and in competition with others.
Puerto Rican, a slave name from Christopher Columbus. Absolutely.
Hey, I say it's all fine and good, but at the end of the day, there's definitely something that is keeping them together.
No, I'm not.
Right, and
that's called culture. That's called ethnicity.
It's called culture. So, let me ask you something. What was I say in the description that she gave, right? And the things that they even like the genetic makeup. What's so culturally distinct?
No,
right?
Same makeup. The same.
Okay,
makeup
even like when we talk about New Orleans and the African traditions, and she mentioned Congo Square. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
We all got the same genetic makeup. Like we all got the same.
Okay.
The Caribbean, they all the same. They got Jamaicans and they got the same genetic. This maybe different variations of it, but the same genetic makeup. You know what I'm saying? So race is a the definition I got from race. It's based on how somebody looks. It's a description. Description, that's the key word. Description. You can't get a general description from a place all the time. You could be wrong. You could be like, oh, I can't look at Bando and say, oh, I know he got. Like, yes, he could.
Yo, sis said this one had the Taino features. You would take issue with that if you kept it a stack. Right? If you kept it a stack, you take issue with that. Because you're considering them black.
No, I didn't know. Crazy Leg said that. I'm just saying.
No, you consider Taino black. Stop the cap.
No. This I say they are melanated. This is what I believe they are. Oh. My opinion. From my I'm going with the Dr. Smalls theory, right? The Dr. Smalls, what I got. So,
what did Professor Smalls say?
Professor Smalls said this. This is like I said. So before they got to the Caribbean, right? You don't like Dr. Smalls?
Huh?
You don't like Dr. Smalls?
I have no issues with Professor Smalls. I know it.
Okay. You feel like you was like Dr. Smalls.
No, I'm just saying. What did he say? Because I'm curious. What did he say?
You're thinking generally on these quote unquote indigenous Americans in this specific region, like Florida, at like that southern east, what these people probably kind of came from, right? Saying that it was a large group of these Asiatics that came over the balance down, whatever, and then groups of African people who were there, whatever. But largely more of them. So they have this that kind of look. They look like white Asians, like Eskimos, whatever. But the kind of that kind of a whatever. And those people who moved to the Caribbean became, whatever the case. But like the whole Caribbean is populated with Taínos. So the Taínos in Jamaica, where do they go? They're inside the Jamaicans. Taínos inside the name of the black island. They're inside. They're all in. They got this. They're all the Spanish ones. They're in. You know what I'm saying? So why do we get the ones who are Spanish? But
wait, say it again.
So why do the three Latino islands in the Caribbean they get to have Taino blood when Tainos actually populated the whole Caribbean? Every black island has them too, but we don't say and be like, yeah, they're in those people too. They populated the whole island. They populated the whole Caribbean.
Most of them most of them say that though. Like the Jamaicans I know, they say that.
Yeah. It's no mean black. But why the only standing ones they get to hold that? You know what I'm saying?
What you mean?
It seems the Spanish speaking islands get to claim the Taino and be like, oh, I got the Taino features, but you don't see Jamaicans or the
okay.
And
I see what you're saying.
Taino features and they're in those niggas too. Like why they don't? Is it like they're in? It's the same like. The way you make rice and peas, the same way you may chef it up a little different, but it's still the same rice, peas, and whatever. It's still the same.
Yeah, like I say, we got our red beans and rice.
Exactly, it's the same. Yeah, the same thing. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You got this. We can go the same sauce. You put a little bit more of this. You put a little bit more of that. You don't hear the Jamaican. 100%.
Yeah, I say, you know.
So
it's again.
They not
huh?
they half this and that but they still like but for a large part they black, but the ones who are ones who are white get to claim something different. That's my whole point with the stuff.
Yo, here's the thing that you fail to accept. Black, right? When folks say black, they specifically mean black people here in the United States of America that have no other national ties that they identify with that causes them to congregate as a group. You know what I'm saying? This is pretty much what they're talking about. And these groups would consider that these national ties that connect them together, right, also come with certain cultural affinities, right? They also have cultural ties, right? It's something specific to that national origin that they hold to and they still identify with, whether it's in cuisine, whether it's in music and this stuff. Now we can argue that all of it has African origins, right? We can argue that, of course, right? But at the end of the day, you know, when they look at us, they might feel that this is something different. We don't necessarily have that. And if we do have it, it's this here where we're at. And it's something distinct from what it is that they're doing and where they're coming from. Right? And you take issue with it because you feel as though, you know, we're all black. So that should trump all that other shit. And where that might be a goal. There might be goals, but where has it actually happened in history?
Okay, like I said, what you're saying is correct in that a lot of people do think that, like when you say black, it means United States of America. I'm saying that's not totally correct. Like that's not exactly, that's not all what black means, right? It's a description, right? So some people mean that and say I'm not black, I'm not from America, United States of America. But it also means, like I said, people in those original people.
So I say some black folks say I'm not black, I'm American.
Yeah. I mean,
this is what they do.
All right, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not referring to ethnicity. That's what I'm saying. So I separate those two. Race.
American isn't an ethnicity.
It's a nationality, but there is I think it could fall into that because ethnicity is location and culture.
Look, like I say, there are several ethnic groups within America. American is not an ethnicity.
Yes. This is a subgroup. Look, ethnicity. The quality or fact of belonging to a population group or subgroup made up of people who share a common cultural background or descent. That's all it means. Yes, in America, there are multiple whatever this and that, whatever. In other countries there are, but there are subgroups within a subgroup. You see what I'm saying? So we can have a connection on one level and then be broken down. You have that in the continent.
I agree.
And you got Ethiopia got 20. Selassie had to put like 25 different ethnic nations he had to put together.
Yeah, you can have
Ethiopian.
How you say, you can have ethnicities that come into existence based on the differences.
American without Rican.
Right. In some places, what you call religious denominations are ethnic distinctions in other places.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
This is different. That's a whole. It could break. I think it get broken down into so many different ways, and that's it. So my thing with race, it's the opposite. It's like a general, this off the eye. This is we talking about 1400, 1500s. Oh, that baby black. Yeah, you over there. Oh, that you over there. Oh, you go that way. Like that's race. Oh, you Negro. Okay, you that way. Look at the skull. Yeah, that's Negro. You go that way. That's that simple race. White folks doing that. Like, and I'm only referring to their construct. I know other places may have it because we're in it, we're being oppressed by, we're in this system that uses that perception. Like the Ta-Nehisi Coates talk about the perception of race. It's not a real thing. I know it. I understand that, and I'm not living by I'm a black man, blah 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 blah. I'm only talking about from the things that we're go through. Like I said, we go on the official document, Constitution, Negro. You know what I'm saying? We like they're talking about black people versus white people. They didn't say red, green, yellow, blue, a minority. It said
they absolutely do say red and yellow and all that.
Yellow.
They did. They absolutely did.
You gotta pull that up. I'm not a constitutional lawyer like Obama, but from the things I've seen, I don't know, the amendments or whatever, it said Negro. Good night, love. She said, good night, Kings.
Good night. Take care. Yo, how you say? It
said, we the people. I heard the only thing I said was we the people, which didn't include us, because the people meant those people and Negroes. Or colored, and they cut like those are the ones I heard, like colored Negroes, and that's it.
Yeah, I think my phone might die, but let's hang
it up because we've been this is 3 hours. I said 20 minutes.
One of these days we will have to figure out what your point is. You know what I'm saying? Because I have no idea. Yeah.
All right, let's end it right here. The point to my discussion is 2 points. Hip hop is a black culture or black movement or whatever you want to call it, whatever. And when we say that, it doesn't mean non-black people weren't contributors or part of it. I'm saying the majority, the like she said, like even Love said, whatever. It she also said, there was a whatever she said, whatever.
She said Boricua is the
co-creators. But I asked about Jamaica. She said, hey, they was there too. Like they was there too. Like
there was. All right.
So when I say black,
distinction too between the three. She made a distinction between the three too.
She did.
She absolutely did.
She did say, and I mean, there are white Jamaicans, whatever. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to make that don't like, man. That's not what I'm saying. Like that's not what I'm trying. Like America, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico, yes, same playing field. Black is not that. Like that's not what black is. Black could be all three of those, and it cannot be, but it could be.
I agree, right? But
American is black. Every Jamaican is in black.
When I say black, I mean African.
Every African ain't black.
See, you be claiming folk.
Every African ain't black too.
Oh, you be claiming folk. Being in Africa.
Oh, okay.
Don't necessarily mean you're African.
Yeah.
And you be claiming folk just because they are quote unquote melanated.
look a certain way.
Yeah, and these are folk that could be socially, politically, and economically and culturally our enemies in opposition to us.
Woo.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
But we have that in the same quote unquote race. You said we talked about it before. Oh, Nigerians would be like, don't mix with those Black Americans, or these people will say that we have that. So what is that?
I agree, but at the same time, I would say that
we look black, so it's like
there are things that we have in common with these people that, let's say, if we can overcome whatever that is, right, we have a greater chance of uniting against a common enemy to us both than dealing with somebody who is not culturally or genetically related to us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but somebody from Nigeria has different culture from somebody from Detroit. Generally speaking.
Yes and no.
Yeah. It's subgroups to a subgroup. Like
we gotta. No. What I'm saying is we gotta do. Listen, the majority of our people here, like, have a great, like, predominantly Nigerian background.
100%. I'm 40% Nigerian or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying culturally, like this. I'm just saying that thing. We ethnicities are just a bunch of different differences and stuff, and that's cool and respected. When I say race, I'm just talking about description.
Okay. I say
when that cop see you run down the street, what do he say? Oh, black male, 6'2". Hold on, that person's from Great Britain. Like, he don't know where you from, man. Like, he just gonna say what the fucking see. He was like Meghan Markle, white woman, 5'11". Oh, she black. Like, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a racist. Like,
so here's my thing. You're talking. It seems like you're talking about something that only matters within a particular context as it relates to dealing with oppression. But you know what I'm saying, outside of that, there is no kind of kinship, or let's say, connection or unity or galvanizing of resources or anything. So, I say, and I don't want to open up another can of worms, because I said I literally got 1%. I don't know how. I don't know how this is still go. You know what I'm saying?
She was yeah. All right, let's get out of here. I appreciate you, Breno. We gonna get it. We gonna talk every day, whatever. But yo, please subscribe to the channel right now. Click the link in the bio. Get your free book. Get your free copy of our album. Follow Saga City. We working on books. Shout out to Love. Hit me in the comments. Let me see your channel. And we out. Vader gotta charge his phone, and I gotta get to bed to wake up early and do some stuff. But yeah, peace out. We done. In the broadcast.